Good evening, happy Tuesday, and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Tuesday night Canadian Baseball League action here at Jack Couch Park. Welcome to KPTV Live. I'm Marshall Crocker, joined alongside tonight by Cameron Stirrup. We are here to call what should be the first of the rest of the start of the season. Yesterday was the CBL transaction deadline. Tonight is the start of the next phase, the run to the end of the season, at least the regular season, where we'll find out what 5 teams are going to play in the Canadian Baseball League playoffs. One team tonight's above the cutoff line, one team's currently below. The Hamilton Cardinals travel tonight to take on the Kitchener Panthers here at Couch. It's going to be a great night here tonight, Cam. I know we've had, quite a bit of discussion after Sunday night's ball game. What's the rest of the season going to look like for Kitchener? What do the Panthers, the Cardinals, and every team in the league need to do? What changes need to be made? Lots of transactions for both sides here late, particularly Hamilton. 4 or 5 new additions they've made out before last night's deadline to bring new pieces into the team, including Francis Adames coming back from injury. There's a lot of moving, shifting parts, but one thing we can agree on, this game for a Hamilton team above the playoff line, trying to keep teams like Kitchener at bay, and this game for Kitchener, who can be desperate because at this point, the bottom 4, very similar. The goal is clear. Past those teams above means something different for each team, but it's going to be competitive tonight nonetheless.
We got a great battle here against 2 teams who are looking to find or maintain their identity here, Marshall, for 2 different reasons, right? The Cardinals are coming into this one losers in 2 of their each last 2 games. The Panthers still winless since the All-Star break. A bit of a tough stretch for them, obviously. We want to keep the mentions of the game on Sunday to a minimum here tonight, but it is hard to ignore that. In saying that, though, this is the opportunity for the Panthers, especially to turn a new leaf and especially look to sort of maintain and sort of push on that gap that exists right now to the Guelph Royals, who hold that last playoff spot right now in 5th place. 7 games, I believe, is that gap between Kitchener and Guelph. But the Cardinals, too, you mentioned they made a ton of moves at the deadline, obviously. They brought in help to the mound. They brought in a bit of speed as well, help on the outfield and the infield as well. They really balanced their lineup. So for the Kitchener Panthers, this is all a moment in which they can maybe give one of the CBL's most balanced teams a little bit of a hard time here. The standings right now, obviously, Welland have just skyrocketed over the rest of the league. London, obviously, have pulled away too. The top 4 in the CBL have, won, at least 6 of their last 10 games. It's been a bit of a party for the teams in the top 4 right now, and it's a game of 5 and 4 right now. The split and the divide is as big as it's ever has been, and I mean, with the condensed schedule that every team in the CBL is experiencing so far in August, it doesn't make that any easier. Rainouts and smokeouts have, pushed a lot of schedules back. And so, for these teams, it's all about maintaining a good sense of mind on the mound for the Panthers especially. Jorge Mignetti, the starter today as well, has been, for Pete Kiefer, one of his options, who has shown that he can go deep into games. This is only his 5th appearance of the season. And he's had 2 appearances where he's gone 6 innings. That's exactly what the Kitchener Panthers need tonight if they want to take it to the Hamilton Cardinals.
And let's show you the Hamilton Cardinals starting offense, including a new addition we talk about. Didn't come in at the transaction deadline, but Jomar Hernandez back on this team after having a really good run of it last season. A consistent bat, a consistent presence. There you see the lineup tonight for Hamilton. I think the thing that stands out to me, and it's one of the oldest adages in sports, is that styles pick fights. You got to build a team to play to your ballpark. And I think Kitchener Panthers fans would agree. This offense, this Kitchener side, is tailored to play here at Couch. The question for Hamilton's side is going to be, are they ready for what could become a high-scoring matchup? Because as is well established and is the reason they lost those last 2, they're not a team that likes these high-scoring ball games. Hamilton likes to play in, get you in a closet, get the score nice and low, have each defensive play make the difference, and obviously their pitching is the name of the game. Caleb Sorowski here tonight, as we take a look at the Kitchener lineup, he's going to be a question looking at some of these Kitchener bats, because as I pointed out pre-game, it's an interesting pitching matchup. Sorowski for Hamilton versus Mignetti for Kitchener. Mignetti wants to keep the ball on the ground, the true pitch-to-contact guy. Caleb Sorowski, great sample size. He's a swing and a miss guy. He's going to get whiffs, and this Kitchener lineup needs to be prepared for that. But the trade-off is Sorowski will give up a long ball. He's a guy that likes to pound the zone. He's a guy that likes to put stuff up high in the air. Some of these Kitchener hitters, in particular guys like who have been hitting hot lately, Kiefer, Penalve's got some pop. Big one tonight is going to be no Malik Williams in the starting lineup. That's going to be one that bites. But these guys guys that maybe have a little bit of home run pop, have a little bit of power, you need to come into the game with a preconceived notion. I'm going to see stuff up high from Soroski, and I got to barrel it. And the good thing for Kitchener, Soroski in his three previous matchups this season, he's played Kitchener 3 times, has yet to go 3 innings in any of them. So if you can get Soroski out of the game, attack him early, we talked about it earlier, all these games, you made a great point with the smoke delays and all these compressed schedule games. Teams are going to go through their bullpen quite a bit faster. The more arms you can get to come in the ball game earlier, the longer coaching staffs are going to want to extend, make guys play as long as possible because you want to save pitchers for later in the week. That can be beneficial to an offense if you can pounce early. So the Kitchener Panthers are going to need to pounce early, and we talked about it a little bit. I don't want to bring up too much what happened on Sunday, but how important would you think it would be for Mignetti and the Panthers defense to execute to keep this score not only in the Panthers' favor, but a low-scoring game to prove against a team like Hamilton that doesn't always produce a ton of runs, they can keep them at bay. They can do what they have to do on defense.
It's exactly what the Panthers need, Marshall, is a low-scoring game, especially here at the couch with obviously the sort of the shrunk dimensions as to what the Cardinals are used to playing at Bernie Harbor Stadium, with at least 20 more feet in center field to work with. Mignetti going deep into this game is going to be a key. And I mean, I've talked to Pete Kiefer many times before games this season. Pitching has obviously been a huge component for the Panthers in terms of how they go about managing a ball game. Mignetti is going to have to get through that first inning, and he's going to have to get through it with a 0 on the board for Hamilton. That portion of the infield for the Panthers, as well as if that around the horn, obviously. From third base all the way to first, if they can stay sharp and keep the ball in the ballpark, that's going to be all that Pete Kiefer will want today. And again, that low-scoring game that Hamilton hasn't really flourished within that setting this season, the Panthers would love that.
You got to play your own ball game, right? You're in your own park. It's one of the great things about being a home side in one of these contests. Outside of just the record, Kitchener knows the game they need to play here today. They've built a team, I think, to do it. And one great point here tonight I want to keep an eye on, especially early. Kitchener, more than almost any team in the league, has really good defensive continuity. These pieces, especially in the infield, where that defensive coordination, reading the mind of your other players for pick plays, for little technical behind-the-scenes stuff to take out base runners. It's not a particularly fast base-running team, I wouldn't say. I haven't been impressed this season with what the Cardinals have done on the base pass, especially relative to Kitchener. 32 stolen bases this year for the Hamilton Cardinals, 72 for Kitchener. And I think the Kitchener defense does a really good job at that because they played together so long. Even guys like Fuji, I know he's been in and out of the lineup for Matt Fabian a little bit. They're both going to play alongside each other tonight. But guys like, Gross, Kiefer, all these key pieces, Scansey, of course, at second, these key pieces have all played with each other in the same positions. That continuity, being able to read each other's minds, the Hamilton Cardinals don't really have that. And again, if you make a few mistakes here early, you take one starter out of the game before the other. Like we said, in a league where you don't want to pitch too many guys laid out of the bullpen, that could be the story of the day. So the defense, more than any game in particular, extra important because obviously you let a guy on base with a little error, very, very likely chance he's getting scored home on a homer a few moments later.
And that's all dictated by, of course, the work on the mound. And Mignetti will feed off of that defensive synergy, the likes of P.D. Kiefer, Zane Scansey, of course, like you mentioned. No Malik Williams at first base. That might hurt the Panthers tonight, obviously. Jackson Cook is going to settle in there very well today at first base. A little bit of a switch up for him. But if Kiefer and Scansey can really work the ball well and turn those double plays, get those key outs in the outfield, or in the infield, excuse me, to keep that ball out of the outfield and within the confines of Jack Couch Park, that is going to be the biggest thing. And that will also give Mignetti confidence as well to feed off of the attribute that he's given to this Panthers team, only being here for a month. Again, going deep into this game and, not necessarily having to make Pete Kiefer go to the bullpen here and, switch to that rotation. The games are going to pick up in August. That rotation's going to have to stay sharp, and they're going to have to stay well rested.
Just a few moments away from the national anthem, the players have been introduced. We are almost ready to go here on what's a fairly humid, getting cooler, but still fairly warm summer night here at Jack Couch Park. Good visibility, not too much sun left in the sky. No excuses for those out there on defense. We are ready for what's going to be a great night of baseball. We'll send you away here in just a couple moments. We'll head to the national anthem. When we return, we'll get you set for the first pitch in tonight's ball game at Jack Couch Park.
And we recognize that a more
I don't know. I'm not sure.
And we are all set to go. The national anthem is complete. The defense is getting set for the Kitchener side. Top of the first inning. Let's talk a little bit about the man on the mound for the home side. Jorge Mignetti makes his first start of the season against the Hamilton Cardinals, his 4th overall. Cam, what are we looking at in terms of his profile? What should Hamilton Cardinals fans in particular expect from the man opposing their offense?
Well, since coming onto the Panthers squad a month ago, Marshall, Jorge Mignetti has, as I mentioned in the pregame, he's already established himself as a Panther who can go deep into games when he wants to. And, I mean, this is his 5th appearance of the season. 1-2, but, that record does not show the amount of the extent of which he's been able to succeed on the mound. 3.15 ERA, 14 strikeouts through 20 innings pitched so far as a Kitchener Panther. And an outing in which he's had a couple of outings that have really stood out to me. His debut against Welland, where he actually picked up the win. A magnificent outing from Mignetti in his debut against the team that's at the top of the CBL standings as of now. That really stands out. And you know what? For a Kitchener Panthers team where pitching has been an issue, it has been a struggle, and it's what other teams have fed off of, Mignetti really has been a diamond in the rough in that sense. And since joining the rotation last month, he also had an unbelievable outing too. He went 6 innings against the Toronto Maple Leafs just last week, and he struck out 7 batters there. So that's going to be the key, is if he can get the ball across the plate to Junior Ibarra and make the defense's lives really, really easy in this one. Up against the Hamilton team, which I also mentioned, they're very well structured. They made some additions. This is a team that is gunning for that top spot in the CBL. And, it should be a great matchup, too, obviously, with Caleb Sorosky on the other side, as we'll get to in the bottom part of the inning.
We will indeed. Let's open it up for the Hamilton Cardinals offense. It's the former MVP, now 2-time Home Run Derby champion, Tyler Duncan, the first man up, today's center fielder. First pitch taken outside for ball 1. There you see the umpires just a moment ago for tonight's contest. Justin Snively, the crew chief at home plate, calling balls and strikes. Matt Neely out there on first. Steve Cochran out there behind the hot corner.
Yeah, and Tyler Duncan, his 5th year in the CBL, Marshall. This season, 3 home runs, 11 RBIs.
Up over the head there, the shortstop. Kiefer just out of range out above him. First hit of the day on the second pitch he sees. Tyler Duncan on with a stand-up single.
That's the sort of power at the leadoff spot that the Cardinals want in this game, Marshall, especially at Jack Couch Park, especially with the 2-3 of Brandon Nickel and Darlin Herman, who are also very, very seasoned hitters in the CBL. That top 3 for the Cardinals can definitely give Mignetti a bit of a struggle tonight, and so far it has, with Duncan getting on base the first pitch of the game.
Next up, Brandon Nickel, the shortstop. That pitch drops in and is hit once again right by Kiefer's range. Out there, the gap between short and third. Another hit, 2 in the first 3 pitches. Brandon Nichols sees a breaking ball he likes, drops over the heart of the plate, and the Cardinals open it up with a pair of base runners.
Yeah, this is not what Pete Kiefer would have wanted, Marshall, right off the bat here. No outs. You already have a runner in scoring position. The defense is definitely going to have to react to that a little bit, and so are the outfield as well, with the bat of Herman coming up here. 7 home runs, 35 RBIs to his name this season, hitting .370 on the season so far. Nickel and Herman are among 2 of the premier batters statistically in the entire CBL, so for them to get on base here early, that's exactly what the roadside would have wanted.
First pitch he sees, bottom corner of the zone. Mignetti gets on the board with his first strike of the day. Yeah, Herman, of course, the first-time All-Star this year in his first season in the CBL. The man from DR, 36-year-old veteran of the sport. Inside on the hands, misses his spot that time, and I think that's the spot Mignetti's going to try to attack, especially on a lot of these big, powerful righties. Keep the ball in on the hands, prevent Hamilton from getting their arms out.
Possibly get a little bit of a jam, too, and get that ball over to Scansey at second base to possibly look at a double play here. That's exactly what Pete Kiefer would want in this instance. Keep the ball in the infield, possibly even look at maybe even a strikeout here from Mignetti, too, to sort of minimize the damage here.
That one put in play once again out of the reach of Kiefer on the third base side. Runner coming around. It's Duncan digging for home. The Cardinals on the board. 3 batters in. Tyler Duncan slides in off the RBI single from Darlene Herman.
And, 3 up and 3 on base and 1 home, Marshall. It's not what the Panthers would have wanted here. Another single into left field as well there, though, to test
The catcher, number 18.
to test Matt Fabian out there in left field. More action than he probably would have wanted to this point. Mignetti is going to have to definitely give the Cardinals his best stuff here if he wants to get 1 out here. And, he had another runner in scoring position for the Cardinals here. This is, sort of mirroring that start against Welland a little bit.
Nice breaking pitch there, drops in the bottom corner. McGill doesn't go around, strike 1. The man from North York, Ontario, 26 years of age, Evan McGill. Big bat and really good discipline for a catcher. 16 walks to 22 punch-outs on the season.
Yeah, and also 7 home runs and 26 RBIs as well. There are 3 Cardinals rather with 7 home runs on the season. Carlos Dominguez, Darlin Herman, and Evan McGill each lead the team in that category too. 26 RBIs as well for the Cardinal catcher so far this season.
Runner on first and second. Here's the 1-1. Steps off, checks the runners. It's the man on second he's looking at there. Nichols going to take a step back. His threat to steal is often quite good there on that first step jump. And the point you make there about the hitters, not just the even home run power through the entire offense. You'll see the Cardinals bats very quickly. True opposite field power to anywhere. They are not a team full of pull guys. They can put a ball in opposite field with the best of them. Breaking pitch doesn't break back far enough. 2-1.
I don't mind that look by Mignetti over to second base there. You're in a position where you haven't necessarily been able to get the outs in terms of throwing the ball to the plate. You need to sort of get into the head of the opposition a little bit and make sure that their trips around the base paths are, not as easy as it has been to this point in the game.
Yeah, he's set. He deals. Drops in, tipped foul off the bat of McGill's bat here, and Mignetti. Obviously the story of those first 3 at-bats, not only were they quick succession hits from 3 Hamilton Cardinals, but they were very early in the count. He's challenging the zone right away, kind of in the way we thought Soroski would. We've yet to see him in this ball game. I kind of want to see him, take things slow, put things low. You got some wiggle room there. You can afford an extra ball to strike. Maybe try some experimental stuff on the bottom.
And that was the story for Owen McNeil, too, against the Welland Cardinals. He wasn't able to get...
Up in the air, out to left field, ball tracking back. Fabian's ranging back to it, and it'll leave. A ball, it looked like it didn't have much on the bat, kept finding its carry. And the first 4 to come up to the plate for the Cardinals will score. Evan McGill, the 3-run shot, makes it 4-0 early for the roadside.
8th homer of the year for Evan McGill. And before he had hit that ball out, I had mentioned obviously the start for Kitchener on Sunday against Welland. Obviously Owen McNeil only going an inning and 2/3 in that game. For Jorge Mignetti right now, allowing 4 runs off of the first 4 batters he's faced. That's, nightmare situation for the Panthers once again here at Jack Couch Park. They need an out here. They need an out desperately before they get towards the bottom half of this Cardinal lineup and possibly even turn the card over here, Marshall.
There's a man with the hardest warm-up swing in the league. Carlos Dominguez swings for broke even when he's just warming up at the plate. And trust me, if he gets a piece of a baseball, it can look very similar. Tipped off the bat, goes down, and a little bit of discomfort there for the catcher, Ibarra. Catches one in the lower midsection. Looks to be okay. The ump's going to go head out to Mignetti. And a moment ago, nobody can accuse Matt Fabian of not going up to challenge that baseball, even if it was a couple feet over the fencing. He pulled a sponsor banner down on the way up there. The field crew had to come and take it down. He was going to attack the fence to try to bring that one back. Unfortunately, no dice.
Jack Couch, that's a bit of a tough ask, Marshall. You kind of have to climb over that wall if you want to get a chance to catch any ball that's put into the outfield here. I don't blame him for making the jump that early, especially on that ball too. Great effort, but unfortunately not enough room to make it.
Break pitch gets a little bit too low there. Nasty break on the slider. He's trying to have it as a comebacker that gets back in, clips the zone on the inside. Hasn't quite found his spot there yet, and I think I talk about butterfly effect moments a lot. Had a couple more of those been strikes. Might have had different luck to this point. That one, even less break on it. Nearly catches the batter, just misses Dominguez. 2-1 now the count.
Yep, Mignetti really attacking the inside part of the plate here on Dominguez, who has 8 hits in his last 2 games. Does Carlos Dominguez, now second on the team in home runs with McGill's bomb to left field there.
Finally gets a whiff there, does Mignetti, just his second of the game. 2-2 now the count. Looking for the first out of the night here for the Panthers side.
This is a more comfortable at bat here for Mignetti. He's gotten into an even count now. This is exactly what he needs to regain some confidence here if he can get the ball past Dominguez here for a strikeout.
Tipped off the bat, tipped down, it'll roll away. It'll remain 2-2.
And he was going for it there. Bit of movement on that pitch towards the outside. Dominguez checked on that one there, and he pulled back. That's the stuff that Mignetti can dish out.
Strike three, swinging. Finally gets the slider off the far side on a right-hander. Swinging through it is Dominguez for the first out of the day.
There's hopefully a bit of confidence there for Jorge Mignetti to build off of here to get through this half inning. Started out in probably the worst possible way, Marshall, for him.
Well, here coming up is Jomar Hernandez, one of four players from the Dominican Republic today for the Hamilton Cardinals starting lineup since he returned just 2 games ago to the Canadian Baseball League after playing for the team in 2025. No hits through 10 plate appearances to start the year. Hernandez looking to take the next man up mentality. Get his first hit, that one sent foul, bounces up and over and into the Panthers dugout.
Yep, second year in the CBL for Jomar Hernandez. 4 home runs last season and 16 RBIs, hitting a .286 average. Has yet to hit the long balls so far this season in only his 11th plate appearance here.
One up in the air, should be playable out over the head of Cook. Comes down and the play is made. Second out of the inning retired by Zane Scansey.
And now the Panthers can get into a bit of a rhythm here, Marshall. I know they've got 2 quick outs here after, once again, a tough start, 4 runs on 4 hits. Great communication there to let Zane Scansey catch that ball in a tough spot. A little bit of a run for him there, but he was able to make the play for the second out here. Hopefully calm the storm a little bit here. No pun intended with the overcast conditions that we've got here at Jack Couch Park. But, you know, those last 2 batters are exactly what Mignetti wanted to punch out here.
His first pitch drops in on the top corner to Rainy Reyes, today's 7th hitter.
Great movement on that pitch there from Mignetti, also attacking Reyes there on the inside. 4 home runs for Reyes, the Cardinal third baseman on the season.
Strong glove in the hot corner on defense. We'll see him in potentially 1 out's time. Mignetti now looking at 1-1. Jaden Brown is the man on deck should his services be needed in the inning. Deals. Inside on the hands. Gets a swing and a miss there past the barrel. Now 1-2.
Double down there on the inside there was Jorge Mignetti. Rainy Reyes took a hack at that one, and he's one of the Cardinals here. He was just batting under that 300 mark so far on the season there. And I mean, you know, why not take a hack at that inside pitch? You know, left field, there have been a lot of balls that have been put out into that spot in this inning. He's looking to go for another one.
Came close, didn't quite get the call there. It'll be 2-2. And I like him moving the eye level there on that slider. He had a couple that were there up high. He was trying to challenge truly just crossing the zone, but up in hitter's range. Got taken advantage of by their Nickel and Herman at the start of the inning. He started to put it lower and seems to be finding more success. Gets another one there on the slow rolling slider. Swing and a miss for the second punch out of the inning, and it was looking like a rough start there at the beginning, Cam, but like you talked about, you can allow a couple runs. If there's any park in the league that you can give your offense a chance, you can come back from a 4-0 lead even in 1 inning. This is the place to do it here at Couch. I like him turning it around, and like we were talking about, there was a lot he was serving right over the heart of the plate, a lot of meatballs. So once he started to put the ball low, that's the version of Jorge Mignetti you want to see.
And the latter part of that half inning there, Marshall, that is exactly what the Jorge Mignetti of yestergame has definitely shown this Kitchener Panthers team. And there's a bit of confidence as well. You know, obviously, you know, I think he is going to go longer into this one than the likes of Owen McNeil did on Sunday against Welland. He's going to go deeper into this one. And so, you know, to give that offense a little bit of confidence here going into the bottom part of the inning, having given up 4 runs, it means everything. So 3 straight punch outs there. You know, it's exactly what you want to see, especially after the start.
Warming up next as we head to the bottom of the first inning, it's the man on the mound for the Hamilton Cardinals, Caleb Sorowski. We go from Mignetti, who hadn't seen the Hamilton Cardinals to this point in the season, to a gentleman very familiar with the Panthers in 2026. Sorowski will make his fourth start against Kitchener, 2-4 record overall in the season. Tell us a little bit about what we can expect from Sorowski, and particularly his profile versus Mignetti.
15th appearance on the season, Marshall, for Caleb Sorowski here, 5.32 ERA. 22 strikeouts and 22 innings pitched. And, in terms of the matchup against Mignetti, that earned run average, Sorowski is higher in that category. So, this is an opportunity for the Panthers to take advantage of that high ERA, especially in this ballpark here. He's a pitcher that has been known to give up the long ball, especially in the outfield here. And, what better place to do that than here at Jack Couch Park? And, for the Panther offense, in that game against Welland on Sunday, they came to life late in it. Were able to manage 4 home runs and 8 runs late in that game. Petey Kiefer, he was a single shy of the cycle amidst the loss to Welland there. So this is a Panthers offense that can explode at any time. We'll see what they make of it here.
First pitch from Sorowski, right down Main Street. There's that arm side breaking fastball. Very live fastball there in the two-seamer from Sorowski, and he has true wipeout stuff there. That's the reason he's so effective in the K's call. That one is fouled straight back into the fencing, and one of the things you're going to see, you probably saw it right there, Cam, to get it started. Sorowski, one of the fastest pitchers in the league when it comes to get set, get going. He's what I like to call a dinner reservation pitcher. He's a guy that pitches like he's got somewhere to be in 2 hours.
And against Giovanni Penalve too, hitting .333 on the season. You want to not give him as much time.
Up in the air there, out into center field. Very shallow center. The play is made. Early retirement there by the shortstop. Opening it up is the Cardinals, and that's what they're going to try to do. And Sorowski, I think if he can get the advantage today of weakly hit balls up in the air, he's going to have a good day. Let's see the Hamilton defense that's going to look to oppose these Kitchener hitters. And like you said, operating with smaller dimensions than they're used to in their home ballpark. Herman going to be the man there on first. Jaden Brown going to play at second today. The first to the Nichols there. Trevor will be DHing. Brandon's going to be the man today at short, just making that catch a moment ago. Reyes on the hot corner. Hernandez, Duncan Dominguez. Your outfield left to right, the bunt there, and drops the bat. Kiefer going to try to leg it out to first. Very nice play made. Typical PFP play right there. Quick throw back from Sorowski to first, and 2 quick outs retired here by the Hamilton Cardinals.
Great awareness for the infield there to drop short on that ball from Petey Kiefer, who does have speed running down to that first base line. That's just a great play there from Kiefer to put the ball in that spot just to get a base runner here. That's exactly what the Panthers want, especially after the first inning that their defense suffered. I like that from Kiefer. It resulted in an out, but, he's got the legs to get down to first, but a brilliant reaction from the Cardinal defense.
First pitch misses just wide here against Rafi Gross. Coming into today, like many hitters on this Kitchener Panthers side, on a pretty good run of form. Enters with an active 9-game hitting streak into Tuesday night.
Yep, and a home run as well against the Welland Jackfish on Sunday. 3 RBIs for him as well, too, in that contest. He was 2 for 5 at the plate. Obviously, there was a lot of opportunities in that game, we'll say the least there.
2-0 pitch. It's a piece of it, swings it down for 2-1 there. A big hack by Gross, and that's one of what many are going to see here today from Sorowski. He's a guy that the bulk of his stuff, the bulk of his pitch mix, which is quite variable, often does go high in the zone. That's how he likes to get swing and miss stuff, where he says, I know I have more break than you're expecting on every pitch. I'm going to put it where you think you know where it is, and you're going to miss it by a few inches. He plays a very fine game, likes to play on a knife's edge, and if you know you're going to get challenged by the Panthers, you know where to look for a baseball. Makes it easier to barrel it. That one just a little bit low, says the home plate umpire. 3-1.
Both pitchers have been playing on a bit of a knife's edge so far tonight. So far through this first inning. Mignetti testing the inside on guys a little bit. Sorowski throwing up in the zone too. Both are ingredients for, balls that are hit into the outfield here.
Put in play out to third. Reyes. Quick step, quick grab, nice transfer, and gets the ball to Herman in time. Rainy Reyes, one of the best gloves you'll see out there at third base. He's a true Sunday-type Major League ball player. And Reyes will retire the third out, of the first inning. Well, it's 7 that go through the inning on offense for the Cardinals. Just the 3 there for Kitchener. But we are still early in this contest here at Jack Couch Park. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back on KPTU8V Live as the Hamilton Cardinals lead the Panthers 4-0 early.
my zone. Please don't let me into my zone. 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 Please don't let me into my zone. Yeah. Can't answer my phone now. Just leave it there, that tone. Ballin', can't beat me up, cause I'm back in my zone now. Cause I'm back in my zone now.
And welcome back to Jack Couch Park, getting kicked off at the top of the second inning. First pitch inside on the hands here to the number 8 hitter for the Cardinals, Jaden Brown.
Jaden Brown coming in on 5 home runs so far this season, 16 RBIs, hitting .280.
Drops in on the breaking ball. Nice change up there for 1-1.
And you know, at 5 home runs this season up to this point, Marshall equaled his total of long bombs from last year. He also had 5 too.
That one sent very hard hit off foul down the first base side. Yeah, Jaden is one of the slighter frames. Is quite a rangy defender there. He's got good versatility there anywhere he can play in the infield. And those guys often, it's got to be good mechanics to have a powerful swing. He's one of those types. That one is put in play out there towards short. Just missing it as the third baseman. It is going to be Kiefer. Tries it on the throw, but just off the mark. Plays it a little bit long on the right side of the base. He'll miss for a single. They're going to score that one. A clean hit there for Jaden Brown.
Tough ball there for the infield for the Panthers there. Fuji missed it with the glove. Great support from Petey Kiefer, as he usually is there, right at sort of the ring of the outfield there to make a play. Unfortunately, the speed there of Jaden Brown too was a little bit too much for Kiefer's arm on that one.
Trevor Nickel, here's the number 9 man today. The designated hitter looks at a breaking ball that just barely catches the top of the zone.
Didn't record a hit in the last game, the loss against the London Majors. Marshall did. Trevor Nickel. His last hit actually came against the Panthers.
Runner goes, ball put in play on the hit and run. It'll roll over. The play there from Kiefer. Got him in time. They'll take the out there at first, but it is a swipe there from Jaden Brown. Now finds himself in scoring position.
The Cardinals have been very, very aggressive in terms of getting a runner to second base. Early in the inning, we saw it in the first, and they were able to capitalize the 4 runs that they scored. And so, you know, now you get Jaden Brown to second base there. You know, it's clear that, you know, he's got the speed, maybe even to get to third base off of yet even another ball played on the infield here.
Here's Tyler Duncan. Watch the pitch go by in the low part of the zone. Defense here for Kitchener, mostly the unit we've come to expect here for the home side. We saw Fuji there a moment ago, just miss a play out there on the hot corner at third. Jackson Cook, like we said, going to be playing there at first today in placement of what is usually Malik Williams' spot on defense. Deal 1. Slow with the zone there to make it 1-1, and it's going to be Penalve, today's designated hitter. Again, we talked about Matt Fabian a little bit earlier. He had plenty of close opportunities there in the first inning. He's going to have big shoes to fill out there today. Veteran of the league, just needs to have the range to keep up with some hard hit balls here by these opposite field Hamilton bats. Got to take a step back. Does a quick check there on Brown at second.
And yeah, it is a little bit of a different look defense for Pete Kiefer here today, especially with Jackson Cook, newcomer here to the Panthers on first base in place of Malik Williams, the everyday first baseman. Cook's start, though, with the Panthers has been brilliant. We'll see how we can look here at first base.
Drops in another one. It's a lot of breaking stuff right now for Mignetti, but the Cardinals bats, they're sitting on heaters, so no dice here for Duncan. 1-2.
Taking a little bit of an outside approach here in terms of his breaking balls here, Mignetti. And I mean, with the speedy Jaden Brown on second, you know, he's not going to be taking any risks here, even look towards second base to possibly even catch him off the base a little bit there.
Misses wide there to make it 2-2. You've seen Kiefer kind of dive back in towards second base from short a couple times. Think about the back pick, but no attempt here yet from Mignetti on Brown.
It's clear, too, that Duncan, he's a very disciplined hitter, 16 walks on the season. You know, when you get into a count here where you got at least 2 balls, you know, he's incredibly disciplined at the plate. This is a tough batter here for Mignetti.
Kiefer checks behind the runner again. That one set foul up and over the heads of the third base grandstand. Tyler Duncan's often been a great example of what I call waiting for the right pitch rather than waiting for walks. Some players have plate discipline to draw base on balls. They just want to get themselves on base, and often those are the elite base runners. In the case of Tyler Duncan, he knows his range. He knows he wants to get his arms out. He knows he wants something on the high side, particularly a heater. He waits, he waits, he waits. He waits for the right pitch. He doesn't so much care about the walk. And yet he's set. The 2-2. Breaking pitch doesn't come back far enough on the slider. It'll be a full count here to Tyler Duncan. First of the day here in this situation for Mignetti.
And talking about Duncan's discipline at the plate, Marshall, he's up to 38 hits on the season now, getting close to that 49 spot that he had last season for the Cardinals.
49, somehow a career low there for Duncan. Out is chopped foul once again. Nice job keeping the plate appearance alive here. Now 6 pitches in.
And, you know, for Mignetti, this is a frustrating at-bat because, you know, you do not want to get that pitch count up too far. 37 to this point now for Mignetti in the second inning. And that was the key coming into this one. The Panthers wanted to minimize that as much as they could. It's been tough here against the Cardinals.
Batter's going to call time there as Mignetti takes a little bit to get set and pinch. And one of the great points that we made there a little bit earlier about the bullpen, about teams not wanting to pitch too deep. A lot of teams in the league played 4 consecutive games from Thursday to Sunday last weekend. Not many teams in the league have to play this soon after that 4-game stretch. And he's going to look at a strike 3 call there. Tyler Duncan, I think he realized at the very last minute that one wasn't going to break far enough. That's the devastating effect of a nice live fastball that can break back out of the zone. Kind of becomes a reverse cutter, and it fooled Duncan on that one for strike 3.
And I mean, even to this point now, I mean, you know, 3 strikeouts for Jorge Mignetti. You know, the scoreline doesn't tell the story as it has for a ton of his appearances so far this season. He actually has been able to minimize the damage when necessary, and, you know, obviously getting Duncan after such a long at bat like that has to give you at least a little bit of confidence here to close out the inning.
Oh, and it's put in play out towards Fuji at third. Gets it on the first hop. Quick throw over. Cook gets the nice range extension off on first. It's taking a moment here. The home plate umpire has made a decision. I need to get confirmation. They've advanced the base runner out there on second. I believe they might be calling potentially a balk on Mignetti. I know the runner obviously goes on the ground ball, 2 outs. I'm waiting to see the decision here.
Very late call as the pitch had been thrown at that point.
So we've still got Nickel at the plate. No pitch. They're just going to call it a balk. We reset. That pitch becomes 0-1. Really unique situation there as Brown will advance to third. They're going to say the movement was not a clean motion there from Mignetti. So we reset. That was effectively the first pitch of the count. It's now 0-1 to Brandon Nickel. That one low there in the dirt for ball 1. Bit of a tough break there from Fuji, who made a great play there to just glove it and pinch it down there on the first bounce. Speed up his timeline and getting the ball to Cook, who made a nice play off there at first.
Very deflating, thinking that you've gotten out of the inning, and then all of a sudden here, you know, you're back to an even count, and Mignetti has to go to work again.
1-1. Inside of the hands, put up in the air, out into shallow center. Just short of Rafi Gross. The ball drops in for a one-hopper, and that will bring the run home. Jaden Brown takes advantage there of the balk that moves him to third. He scores on the one bag run, and it is a single there and a shallow little blooper in for Brandon Nickel, his second hit of the day.
That is such a tough break for the Kitchener Panthers there. Marshall obviously having mentioned the play that Fuji made to make the Panthers think that they got out of the inning there. It instead turns into a bloop single to center field to score the Cardinals' fifth run on their sixth hit rather. But now a little visit there on the mound. Coaching staff talking to Jorge Mignetti here just to sort of calm the storm a little bit here. Keep his head in the right space here to close out this inning. You know, that is a deflating sequence of events there for the Kitchener Panthers, and the Cardinals took advantage of it there.
It's such a tough balance, trying to keep it, a quick tempo, quick pace, trying to get out of innings on low pitch counts. To do that, you got to put a lot in play. One of the things that's made Mignetti so effective this season, getting pitches weakly grounded on the ground into contact, letting his great defense do the work. Just haven't seen quite too much of that today, and obviously the nice fielding play we did see gets called back on the balk. First pitch to Darlene Herman. Up and in towards his kitchen there on ball one.
Working at the inside stuff there again is Jorge Mignetti, and Herman, who's already reached base so far in this game. You need to mix it up a little bit, keep him guessing, especially with the Cardinals in the spot they're at right now, up by 5. You need to use all your stuff to try and throw your at-batter off.
They try to pick there to no avail on first. Brandon Nickel remains on base. And yeah, Darlene Herman there singled home the first run of the ball game there. It was Tyler Duncan just an inning ago. Doesn't get easier. Evan McGill, the next man up. Of course, hit the 3-run shot there in the first inning. That one drops in, just catches the bottom of the zone for strike one. This will be Mignetti's 41st pitch of the outing. Chops straight back down, takes a weird bounce off the dirt. We'll make it 1-2. It'll put Mignetti in a big spot here, 1K away from getting out of the inning.
You just got to blow it past Darlene Herman here if you're Jorge Mignetti. You're in a situation, you got 2 strikes, 2 outs here. The base runner on, plays at second base too, an option here.
He's attacked the zone here on 2 strike counts. What's he do here? Gets him on the far side, and Ibarra knew it. What a pitch there from Mignetti. He's really got that outside spot cooking. He knows his placement on that heater, and he throws so many sliders, so much off speed, and changing eye level. That's why it's so important. We saw Mignetti a lot up high at the beginning of the first inning, then a lot down low. When you mix it up like that, you keep the hitter guessing. You can get a strikeout looking on a pitch that looked like it was hitting the zone all the way.
Yeah, and Junior Ibarra there too. Brilliant placement to let Mignetti know that it was coming in. It was coming in hot there to Darlene Herman, who's one of the Cardinals' most consistent batters there. That strikeout means the world to Mignetti and to Pete Kiefer going forward here. That is a huge out here, and if the Panthers are able to generate a little something here, we're still early in the game, going to the bottom of the second inning here. They may be in a 5-0 hole here, but that's the type of out that lets the group know, okay, we got to get the ball rolling here, and we have to start getting on the base paths ourselves.
We'll take a look here at the next 3 up for the Kitchener Panthers offense. It's going to be Trent Lawson, Junior Ibarra, and Matt Fabian hitting in the middle of the order. Lawson's a very interesting case there this season. His slugging, his ability to, when he puts the ball in play, he does so to big avail, almost, half as many RBIs as he has hits on this season. 15 hits, 12 runs, and just under 50 at-bats this season. Not a huge sample size, but Lawson, when he gets a hold of the baseball, he's been effective, and that's the hitting profile you need here at Couch.
Yeah, he's a very consistent, sort of 300 hitter here, Marshall, is Trent Lawson. Not necessarily a ton of plate appearances for him, up to this point in the season as he had last year, but he's a guy who can put the bat to the ball when he needs to, and it's going to be guys like that who obviously need to find a spark here. In terms of the context of this game, he can light a fire that will definitely ignite the flame for the rest of the lineup here in this second inning to make something out of it.
Oh, eyes going to be on Junior Ibarra as well. Had a 2-hit game back there on July 1st against the Guelph Royals. Has not had a multi-hit game since. He's going to be in a big spot, especially if Lawson can find some success here. Soroski puts one inside on the hands. This is for ball 1.
You know, it's only the 10th pitch, too, for Soroski. Marshall in this one, that's a bit of a comparison between, you know, both pitchers on the mound here.
Guess that far side that Mignetti's been working in the top halves of the inning. 1-1.
That just goes to show the Cardinal defense, too, how sharp they've been up to this point, too, you know, keeping Soroski in that low pitch count.
This is wide there for 2-1.
And Lawson also had hit a home run against the Welland Jackfish on Sunday. So he went 1 for 3 in that outing.
Swings and misses on a ball inside there for 2-2. 3 walks to 19 strikeouts on the season. The profile there for Lawson.
And that home run he hit against Welland, Marshall, it was actually his first hit since the 10th of July against the Chatham-Kent Barnstormers. That was the last win that the Panthers had.
Swings and misses over top of one there. Strike 3 for Soroski, his first punch out of the ballgame.
And, you know, for Soroski, he just has to keep dealing, you know, at 14 pitches now. You know, pitcher to pitcher, you have the advantage right now in terms of, you know, the amount that you can stay on the mound, the options that the Cardinals have to keep Soroski in there, to keep gunning at the Kitchener Panthers here. Brilliant start for him up to this point so far.
One of the most patient hitting catchers you'll ever see. Junior Ibarra takes ball 1 on the inside, and my analyst there on the broadcast and typically calling games out there in Brantford, Mr. Brian Hawley, he was a former bench coach here in Kitchener. He says Junior is the favorite player he ever had the opportunity to coach. That one right down Main Street for strike 1, but trust me, I think we talk about him more on the Brantford broadcast than you guys do here in Kitchener. He loves Junior Ibarra, and he talks about just the veteran presence he brings to the team. For a catcher to almost have as many walks as strikeouts in his last 4 seasons, that speaks to his ability. Is that one just going to catch the far side? Soroski has that bottom corner nailed to a T against the righties.
I mean, Junior Ibarra in his last 6 games, he has 5 hits. He's really come through for the Panthers here since the All-Star break in terms of the hit column.
Now it is put in play. Going to go just foul left to third base. Bit of a blooper there that he got a piece of. And Soroski is one of those guys, I think part of his ERA problem comes in the second and third go around the order. It's why a lot of his outings there, Cam, have been a lot shorter against Kitchener. He often comes into ball games there early. A big reason why his stuff is really effective. It's kind of a shock. It's kind of a shock to the system. How fast, how much break he can put on these pitches, and his quick tempo. Once you see him a second or the third time, that's the real decider. Is a swing and a miss past that one. Second punch out of the second inning. We talked about Soroski. He's going to get a lot of whiffs, and he's starting to find that form here in the second inning.
And Soroski would definitely have that last matchup against the Panthers on his mind, Marshall. He only went an inning, striking out 2, but, you know, you can definitely see the change in terms of the difference between those 2 outings. That's one that he's definitely had on his mind in terms of returning to Kitchener to get another chance at this lineup to redeem himself.
It's the former Brantford Red Sox and Toronto Maple Leaf, Matt Fabian. Oh, it's going to go loose of the glove. It was a ball anyway. Fabian here, small sample size here in 26, only 17 plate appearances through 6 games. Not a huge bout of success for him yet. 2 hits, 2 runs, but plenty of time to find his form from previous seasons. Swings and misses underneath that one. Back in Brantford in 2023, he was the bright spot of the team. OPS nearly 1,000, 406 average. That was in a big sample size too, almost 150 plate appearances. Back when he was just 22 years old. That one upside, right up and in on the arms, just barely misses him, and the zone for 2-1.
And yeah, Matt Fabian here is 4th year in the CBL with his 3rd different team. You know, he's, you know, had to adjust to different dynamics throughout his CBL career, and you know, coming in here with the Kitchener Panthers, you know, and still with under, you know, 20 at bats to his name. You know, still trying to find his legs a little bit here, but, you know, as a player who can come in off the bench, you know, he can be definitely a serviceable bat for Pete Kiefer as the season comes to a close.
Piece of the bat right into the glove of McGill. That will be strike 3, and a quick 3 up, 3 down there for Caleb Soroski. He keeps this ball game all Hamilton, 5-0 the lead here through the first 2 innings. We'll be right back for the start of the third inning. Thanks for joining us on Thursday night CBL baseball here at Jack Couch Park. KPTV Live will return in just a moment.
Catcher number 18, Evan McGill.
Welcome back to Jack Couch Park in lovely Kitchener, Ontario for some more Tuesday night CBL action. The Hamilton Cardinals lead the Panthers 5-0 on the road through the first 2 innings. Next up is Evan McGill. Open it up with the ball on the far side. Nice take there from the catcher who hit his 8th of the season. 3-run shot made it 4-0 Hamilton back in the first inning.
Yep, and that hot bat of McGill throughout the night here for the Cardinals is definitely looks like it's going to dictate the scoreline quite a bit here, Marshall. That was a towering ball there to left field. Matt Fabian ran out of room there against the wall.
But straight down, I think caught a piece of him there on the way back up. I don't know if you saw the funny play there in the MLB last night. Luis Arias had a ball that got tipped foul off his bat up in the face, and it rattled his cage a little bit. He turned around and the catcher started putting up fingers to test him to see if he had a concussion, and then he slapped him in the face just for good measure. It's that's good stuff there. You'll have to see that camaraderie. 1-2, Mignetti facing McGill. Inside on the hands. Very patient approach there from McGill. Hasn't really seemed to go around too hard on any of them. Even the pitch he fouled into the dirt there. And that's going to be the responsibility of Mignetti. If he wants to get whiffs, which might not even be his objective right now, he needs to build credibility in that breaking ball that it can hit the zone. He's set. Here's 2-2. This is a little bit low there. Full count here to Evan McGill.
What Mignetti would want is for the defense behind him to continue to show that support if he can't get the ball across the plate, which, you know, again, at this ballpark and against this team is a tough task.
He does get a piece of it there on the slider that creeps its way back. McGill puts it up and over the third base grandstand. Almost as many walks as strikeouts on the season. 16 base on balls, 22 Ks there for McGill. Nearly even odds here, and looking at the 3-2 situation. Is put in play right out there towards first. Cook will grab it on the second bounce, tosses it to the pitcher. Nice play there by Jackson Cook. He's looked steadfast out there when he's got opportunities on first.
Yeah, and Jackson Cook looking sharp as ever down there at first base here. In his first appearance at Jack Couch Park, down the first base line for the Panthers there. That's exactly what Mignetti wanted exactly here on 54 pitches. You know, getting into that full count there, you know, it seems like, you know, you can't get anything by the batter you're facing, and, you know, it was what I said beforehand, you know, the defense coming up for him there in that moment. That's exactly what he would have wanted here.
One out, here's Carlos Dominguez. Struck out swinging 2 innings ago. Watch a strike one go by on the far side.
Hard to get the ball past Dominguez, obviously, which Mignetti did with ease his first time up. Second on the team in home runs is Dominguez, 336 hitter.
Gonna say a little bit low there is the home plate umpire on the slider. Haven't seen many true breaking pitches here. Haven't seen him utilize the changeup really to change the tempo, change the speed. One of the things here for Magnetti, he kind of has two pitches that he tunnels the same way. They both look the same way out of the hand, but if it's going to be a pitch with horizontal break, you can kind of tell in his release, for example, that one on a slider that never really slid back. That'll make it 1-1. 2-1, pardon me.
Mixing it up a little bit, possibly a little bit of frustration from the first inning, wanting to blow the ball past his batters there, but he's locating it really well there, as you just saw with another great strike coming in here. He's mixing up a bit now, starting to throw the breaking ball a bit against Dominguez.
3 sliders in a row. What's he doing 2-2? Punches out Dominguez again. Swings over top of the 4th consecutive slider. Magnetti might have found his pitch in his back pocket. Might have something he can build as a foundation. Maybe try to sprinkle in the heater there as more of a secondary pitch the rest of the way.
And against Carlos Dominguez, too, who has 8 hits in his last 4 games to get 2 strikeouts against one of the hottest bats for the Hamilton Cardinals is huge for Magnetti.
Yama Hernandez comes up for the second time today. Watch that one bounce low in the dirt, just out of the glove there of Yunari Ibarra. Of course, Hernandez has been on base once this season. Did have a walk in his first game back with Hamilton. Still no hits though in his new campaign. Up a little bit too high on a breaking ball that didn't come back. 2-0.
286 batter was Hernandez last year. 4 home runs and 16 RBIs.
2-0 up in the air, out into shallow center. Gross is under it. Nice first step. And the Panthers get out of the top of the 3rd inning without any more damage. The lead remains 5-0 Cardinals, and really good inning there from Magnetti. I like what he did. I like that he, again, we talked about establishing the credibility of his pitches down there low in the zone. A lot of the Cardinals guys were sitting on what they saw the first time around. Stuff up high, stuff that looked easy to get a hold of. But he did a good job. Keep the pitches down and have the fastball, have the heater up high. Placed it well, and it came as a surprise. Changing the eye level seems to have started to throw off the Hamilton bats.
He really did mix it up there, Marshall. There's no question about it. And, I mean, a scoreless inning for him and the Kitchener Panthers, as of late, that's a win. And, you can build off of that quite easily here. Hopefully the offense here will show their pitchers some love here as we go to the bottom of the 3rd here. But Magnetti really did mix it up well there. He's starting to settle into the game a little bit. It was a bit of a shock start, and that can happen here, and it has happened here the past few games here at Jack Couch Park for the Panthers. The opposing offense has exploded hard, and they've really gotten off to a heavy lead early. So for Magnetti to post up a 0 there in the 3rd, tons of confidence for the offense to try and build off it. And against the heart, really, of the Cardinals lineup, too, in that top of the 3rd inning. So, it can only go up from here in terms of the confidence, in terms of getting that part of the lineup out.
Well, 6 up, 6 down so far for the Kitchener Panthers offense. Soroski's done a good job challenging, keeping up the tempo. Had the trio of strikeouts in the 2nd inning. It's going to be young Jackson Cook making his 2nd appearance at home here as a Kitchener Panther. He's looked good out there on defense today. Has had good range subbing in at first base. Now the question is, what can he do with the bat, and can it look anything like the long ball pop he had against Welland? Of course, his first homer as a Panther coming just a few days ago on Sunday. The man from Belleville, Ontario. Watches strike one down Main Street.
And I mean, in Jackson Cook's 5th game in the CBL, like you said, Marshall, he's really gotten hot as of late. A couple quiet in his first 2 games, but he's really gotten off to a great start here in his last couple of games, particularly, as you mentioned, hitting his first CBL home run against the Welland Jackfish on Sunday.
Cook, of course, listed when he was acquired by Kitchener as a catcher, but not much need there on defense with Ibarra, as that one's going to catch him on the back, just in the back of his left arm. That'll be the first base runner on today for Kitchener, and it's on the hit-by pitch to Jackson Cook.
And that might be all that your offense needs, is just a runner on the base paths. And I mean, you know, for Sorosky, traditionally, as we mentioned in the pregame, you know, at any point, you know, he can give up a ball in the outfield. He can give up a base hit, and, you know, getting Jackson Cook on the base pass here for Kitchener means everything. You know, you can kind of maybe see a little bit of a turn of the tide. Mignetti with a strong outing in the third, now a base runner for Kitchener.
In on the hands, but he does put it in play. Out there rolling towards the shortstop. Flips it for one, steps off the bag, and I think Kitchener will be safe at both. Missed his spot on the little flip play up to the second baseman. Nickel tried to play that one a little bit too fast, looking for the double. As a result, Kitchener keeps 2 on base. Scansey now on first.
Jackson Cook with the hot run to second base, getting his foot down there, and the Cardinals not getting their foot down on the bag to get that out now. No outs with 2 runners on, and Yosuke Fuji coming up to the plate here. You know, this is all it's taken for the Panthers really to generate a little bit here. You know, you already have a runner in scoring position now with no outs here, and you're in an instance where, you know, you're just trying to look to get a run here on the board to make life a little bit easier on the defensive side of the ball.
So the umpires will converse out there towards the mound. It is going to be scored as an error on Jaden Brown. Again, he was trying to play quick. I like the attempt at the little flip play up to try to grab him at second. Would have had time on the throw to first, but that's one of those things. Everybody thinks of base running ability, and particularly, you know, that 60-foot base-to-base time is only valuable for stealing bases. But there's Scansey, how quick he runs on the base pass, how quickly he can drop the bat, take that first step. It just tightens the window that the defense needs to work within to get the double play done. I think that pressure might have got to the infield there, resulted in the fielder's choice E4.
And the Panthers have been incredibly successful being aggressive on the base pass this season, Marshall. And, you know, you got 2 on here with no outs. This is the time to attack. You got to do it now.
Misses wide there. First pitch, Yosuke Fuji we'll see today. Today's number 9 hitter at the bottom for Kitchener. No team has a better macro between stolen bases allowed and stolen bases grabbed than the Kitchener Panthers. 72 on this season. We'll see what they do here. Bunt. He does bunt. Misses it. It's going to go off into the back fencing. Didn't quite get the full turn there on the bunt attempt. It'll be 1-1 to Fuji.
Trying to test the infield here a little bit. There was Yosuke Fuji. Laying that bunt down, mixing it up a little bit. You know, you saw Petey Kiefer put a ball right in that spot in his first at-bat. You know, the legs that he had, he just got out at first base there, but it was a good placement.
Swings and misses past that one. Sorosky starting to pick up the heat once again. Didn't see too many fastballs put in the low part of the zone. That is what these Kitchener Panthers, especially the pull hitters, are going to try to really barrel up for now. Nobody's been able to take advantage of Sorosky. 1-2. Man on second and first. They try the pick back. I think they might get him. They got him at second. Too much of a step off there for Jackson Cook. They get him on the back pick. Nice execution there by the defense. The Cardinals make up for the error just a moment ago.
Unfortunate break for the Panthers there, and Jackson Cook at second base. That was a brilliant, brilliant jump there from Sorosky to get the ball to second base and catch Cook. Too far off the bag there to get a big out.
Out a little bit too low. Ball goes in the dirt. They're going to try for the grab at second. Scansey. He is safe there in time. It was a touch and go moment. Scansey got in the middle of the base pass. He took a big lead off. I think he was going to make the swipe anyway. With the ball in the dirt, there was no urgency for McGill to pick it up, and as a result, Scansey now gets himself in scoring position here. Fuji going to look at 2-2, 1 out in the inning. Up and over the fencing there on the third base side. They'll score that as advancing on a wild pitch there for Zane Scansey. Will not add to one of many strong stolen base totals on the team. Of course, Matteo Zapieri, the most notable. He's been up there at the top of the league. He's been back and forth with Wellens Daiki Abe for best in the league in that category. 2-2. Drops in, strike 3. Gonna give him the call on the bottom. Sorosky gets under the skin of Yosuke Fuji. It was a good at bat, nice and patient, but Sorosky just barely catches his spot on the bottom side. And the home plate umpire, to his credit, they've been pretty consistent about the bottom. Those breaking balls, if you can legitimize it, they're putting it in the catcher's hands. McGill, he's going to frame those bottom breaking pitches quite well. He did so there for Soroski's 4th K of the day.
A little bit of everything happened on that last at bat for Yosuke Fuji there. A couple outs at second base and then a huge out for Soroski here to get 2, where he had 2 runners on base with no outs, and now there's nobody, or 1 runner in scoring position on the base pass rather for the Kitchener Panthers.
Tipped into the back fencing there as Penalve comes up for his 2nd time today. Put one up in the air. Soft contact there was caught by the shortstop Nickel to open up the ball game. Runner on second, 0-1. Becomes 1-1. A little bit of a shuffle there from Penalve.
And, you know, Zane Scansey on second base here with 2 outs. You know, you want to take as many opportunities as you can to see if you can play with Soroski a little bit, but Soroski's not playing around in terms of the runners on the base pass here. He's been brilliant in terms of picking them off tonight.
A little bit up high. Caught Penalve off guard there as he takes for ball 2. And this is what we talked about before here, Cam. Often Soroski so effective that first time through the order. He's kind of a splash of cold water as you're surprised by the swing and miss stuff he can produce. Once you see him a couple more times, Soroski's got to make sure he doesn't get too predictive. That's when he often allows those earned runs. That one up in the air, going to go foul once again over the third base line. 2-2.
And I mean, with the wide variety of appearances that Soroski has had this season, Marshall, you know, again, you mentioned, you know, he hasn't gone over 3 innings in any of those appearances. So, you know, for him to get out into this 3rd inning here and look like, you know, he's handled this Panthers lineup well is definitely a welcome sight.
Drops it in there. It was a close pitch there for Soroski, but it'll get registered as the 3rd ball of the at-bat. Full count spot here. The 2nd one Soroski's faced. Penalve. The question is, what does he sit on? He's seen a lot of breaking stuff there low. Obviously, he wants to just get his hands out and hit something up high. What does Soroski give him? Gives him a ball that is put in play down the first base line this time. That was probably more or less what he was sitting on, just a little bit inside on the hands. I like Soroski putting something very clearly in the zone, but making Penalve attack it a little bit shallow.
Yeah, and like Mignetti in the 1st inning, you know, this is kind of the inning where Soroski has started to heighten the pitch count a little bit now, up to 42 on the game.
And takes for ball 4. What an at-bat there from Penalve. The little Soto-esque shuffle there at the end. He's going to take the free pass off onto first. First base on balls today by Caleb Soroski. Not the first free pass, of course. Hit Jackson Cook to open up the inning. And here is a big spot for the man who's led this team in RBIs quite a ways through the season. Petey Kiefer comes up in a big spot with 2 men on.
And that at bat from Penalve really puts Petey Kiefer in a brilliant spot here. Had an unbelievable game against the Welland Jackfish, of course. He was a single shy of the cycle in that one here, looking to dig in again.
You don't have to miss by the single, do you? That's it's a bit of a fun ledger for him.
Well, there were a couple of triples on Sunday here at Jack Couch Park, which, you know, you can't believe, you know, multiple triples at this stadium. Right. You know, it's almost unheard of.
0-1. Misses wide for 1-1. What do you think? You're in a game that's out of hand, the score's not close. If you're in that position, you're about to hit a double or a triple. You just check up on first, right? You're like, sorry, guys, come on. Take the single. 1-1. Oh, well inside. Nearly hit him, but he was so far over the heart of the plate, it'll get called strike 2. Really clogging up the zone there is the lefty Kiefer.
He'd want to make it all the way around the base pass this time instead of stopping at first in this situation, this point in the game.
Swing and a miss. They'll tag him for good measure. Kiefer looking for a little bit of confirmation. I think he might have been calling for potentially interference. I think he thinks he got a piece of it straight down. The Cardinals are walking off the field. They think this one's good to go. They are going to have a meeting, or the umpires there on the mound. And they are going to register it as a foul ball there. Kiefer's displeasure is going to give him a second chance here. It was a tough play, obviously, right inside of the hands. You're going to see a lot of that. Such a quick bang-bang moment, the ball making a little bit of contact, and it's so tough, especially with how much Kiefer is, again, right over the heart of the plate from the right side. It's hard to tell. Is it a ball off the hand? Is it a ball off the bat? And does the catcher get a full piece of it in the glove? We'll reset then, 1-2. Still 2-1. That one is put right over the heart of the infield. That decision's going to give Kitchener a run. A runner comes around. The Panthers are on the board at home. It is a score from Zane Scansey there after an effective piece of base running. The single right out over the infield over the head of the shortstop is going to put Kiefer on with the Panthers' first hit of the day.
A little bit of deja vu there, Marshall, from the Cardinals getting a call earlier in the game and getting a runoff hit with a single to center field. Petey Kiefer returning the favor and getting the Panthers on the board here with their first hit. But, you know, for Sorosky, you know, getting to that, you know, flirting with that 50 pitch count, you know, only surrendering his first hit, you know, this is a very valiant effort from him. And the Panthers here get a break and a run now, and once again, another runner at first and second.
Gross misses that one with the barrel for 0-1 there. Just off the tip of the bat, didn't extend his arms quite the way he'd want, but that's the way he's going to try to barrel these pitches up. And Sorosky is really just attacking up high right now. He's kind of thrown that low breaking pitch away because he missed a couple low. So you go back to it on 0-1. Checks the runner a few times on second. That one is put once again out into shallow center. This one might go just barely short on the warning track. The catch is made by Tyler Duncan in the outfield, and the Panthers will be held to just one in the inning. But a little bit of life there for the Kitchener offense there, Cam. Is starting to have that next man mentality. And if you can put a good inning together like that to leave two runners on in a good position, but only have one hit in the inning, that speaks you're doing something well. The hit by pitch there by Cook, doing a good job getting over the heart of the plate. Takes a long at bat to get there. You get a little bit lucky with the error, and that's what we talked about with the defense. If you give one of these teams an opening, or even just that decision there by Kiefer going back around, little decisions, butterfly effect, little moments like that can result in a lot of runs here at Jack Couch Park. We're going to be right back in just a couple moments on KPTV Live. We'll return for some more Tuesday night action. The Cardinals lead the Panthers 5-1. We'll be back in the top of the fourth.
Everyone dreams of being great. Only a select few can be iconic. But only one is chosen. Introducing the Chosen One from Rawlings. The all-new one-piece composite iteration of the top-rated and established Icon BB Core bat.
It's a pitch low and wide to open up the top of the fourth inning. Welcome back to KPTV Live for some Tuesday night action here at Jack Couch Park. If you want to get any of your Panthers merchandise, whether it's a jersey or any other awesome offerings to support Kitchener's premier ball club, that one's put right to the second baseman. What a grab by Zane Scansey. Maybe get that man's name on a jersey. What a play there on defense by the second baseman. The Kitchener Panthers defense saw a little bit of faltering from the Hamilton Cardinals in the third inning and said, all right, we can do you one better. What a play by number 12.
I'll make it two jerseys, Marshall. I'll take one as well. That is the Kitchener Panther defense there coming to life. Zane Scansey using the vertical there to get that ball and give Mignetti even more confidence there. A quick out is exactly what they needed, especially after the Panthers get a run in the bottom part of the third.
So Mignetti misses there with the heater off the far side here against Jaden Brown, who's going to come up for the first time since he hit a single back in the second inning. Hard hit liner to Scansey, really his first defensive play of the day. That one, the slider breaks back in, and getting a piece of it there is Jaden Brown. Second single in 2 attempts. He'll waltz his way there on to first, and Trevor Nickel will come back up here in a big spot to get the Hamilton Cardinals offensive momentum picked back up.
And after going hitless in the game against London Majors 2 nights ago, Marshall, Jaden Brown right back into it here, getting a couple of hits. Here to get a runner on here with 1 out. Double play situation, though, for the Panthers.
That one slides in on the inside. Wild pitch will roll away. Brown will take a stroll off there to second on the wild pitch. And it was another slider there. I was curious to see if Vignetti would go back to it. He just kind of hung one straight up in the air. Again, it's got great break. It leaves the zone entirely on the far side of the lefties, but it crept back in, and Brown got all of it there just a moment ago. Now he finds himself on second. Here's the 1-0 offering. There's the slider again. That's his third in a row. Gets that one called for a strike on the far side.
Very tough break after the first out, too. Giving up a base like that and taking away the double play ball. You know, after a great catch by Scansey to get that first out there, it's kind of the hot and cold part of the Panther defense that, you know, can sometimes leak through.
Fastball breaks back arm side, just barely missing the barrel there of Nickel to make it 1-2. A little bit of movement there by Brown off on second, but Vignetti narrowly even taking a look there at the base runner. 1-2, 1 out. Low and in the corner, doesn't get the call from the home plate umpire. That'll even it up at 2s. We've seen Kiefer take a couple steps in a couple times, do a quick run in just to keep Brown honest, and often that's the best way to get the back pick. Do a couple little runs over, keep it in the back of Jaden Brown's mind, get him used to it. And a swing and a miss over top of a slider. Nice job there by Vignetti to go back to his bread and butter. He hasn't got too many whiffs on the slider the second time through the order. He really has looked like a different pitcher between that first go through the lineup. This second time through, much more effective. Only 2 base runners on a pair of singles. No runs since the lineup turned back over for Hamilton.
You know, quietly, Vignetti now up to 6 strikeouts in this one, Marshall, here to Sorosky's 4. You know, he made great use of the breaking ball there throughout that at bat, and you know, obviously with the batter at second base, a lot of actions happen at second base tonight. To get that strikeout there and then keep the ball out of the infield, it's huge for Vignetti.
Brown out there on second, a little bit of movement. Pitch misses wide there. The third time we'll see Tyler Duncan here today. Had that big catch to end off the bottom of the third inning. Barely just past 8 o'clock, already his third time at the plate here today. 1 for 2 with a strikeout and a single.
As Ibarra here, he takes a trip to see Vignetti at the mound here, drawing out a plan to see how they're going to attack the leadoff hitter Duncan here, who, as you said, Marshall, up to this point in the game, he's had a few trips to the plate here, and they have been successful. So, you know, maybe a little bit of a different approach here from Junior Ibarra in terms of what he wants to call here.
They've had a little bit of a miscommunication on a couple pitches, particularly that slider when it breaks back inside on the left-handed hitters. Often Ibarra sets up a little bit out to his left. The pitch comes in very far to his right, and when you glove with your left hand, it's hard to make that quick jump. So still Duncan up, 1-0. 2 outs in the inning. A little bit more movement from Brown. Now and off into the fencing behind home plate. 1-1 as Kiefer and Brown doing a coordinated dance routine every about 2 or 3 times every pitch. PD's staying active. He's trying to earn his outs where he can get them, and he'd love to get the third out of this inning without Tyler Duncan even needing to swing the bat. Here's the 1-1. Duncan gets a piece of it again. Once again, a little bit late since that one up and foul over the third base side.
Staying alive here is Tyler Duncan here in this at-bat. As the Cardinals look to have a little bit of action going down in the bullpen with Phrases Adamas warming up for them.
Here's the 1-2. Up in the air once again. Thought it might be playable. Just out of the range there of Fuji. Yeah, Francis Adames just recently rejoining the active roster here. Wasn't a new addition, but did appear on this week's transactions. Returned from the IL, and looks like we may see him in a few moments. Here's the 1-2 pitch. That one in the air, and it'll be down there in center field, just out of the range of Rafi Gross. Runner comes around from second. Jaden Brown will score to make it 6-1 as Tyler Duncan lines a laser directly over the head of the infield. That has been Hamilton's spot there today. Just out of the range, left-right of Rafi Gross. They've done a good job hitting into the gaps, and as a result, the Cardinals, for the first time in 2 innings, put one on the board to make it 6-1.
Tyler Duncan, the RBI specialist, coming back at it again, his 12th of the season. But, you know, Marshall, he's a guy who's hit over 50 RBIs in a season. He did that in 2023. He's a guy who's very dangerous with a runner in scoring position, and, you know, that was a great example of it there, getting the Cardinals their 6th run of the ball game here.
There's Brandon Nickel. Does he go around on that one? He'll appeal to first. No swings as the first base umpire, much to the chagrin of the crowd.
The Cardinals have quietly added on to the damage a little bit here late with 2 outs in this situation here. You know, they're not going to go away easy. The Panthers are going to have to earn every out on the defensive side of the ball here. It's been a little bit tough to come from here as of late, especially at this ballpark. But Magnetti he's hanging in there.
Gets the call in the bottom corner. He needs to find that spot more with the heater again, just to legitimize that low fastball that the Cardinals really haven't had to take that seriously since the beginning of the ball game. It's been the slider he's sitting on. Does he go back to it on 1-1? The heater again right down the middle. And the Cardinals have gone so long, especially these bats at the top of the order, since they've seen that low fastball. I think it's catching them off guard. He's got the eye level low. Kind of want to see Magnetti go to something potentially high and inside against the right-handed bat of Nickel.
It'll be interesting to see how the dynamic on the mound sort of progresses as this game goes on. Obviously, the Cardinals with a little bit of action in the bullpen. See what the Panthers get up to as the ball game goes on here. Magnetti now nearing 80 pitches here in the 4th inning. You know, you want to get this strikeout here. You want to get Brandon Nickel swinging at one and having it hit the glove of Ibarra to get out of this inning under 80 pitches.
Runner goes, swing and a miss. Over top of one is Nickel on the breaking pitch there. Really good job by Magnetti to go back to his first inning form, really switching up his pitch mix, and he fooled the Cardinals, at least the top 2 bats there that 3rd time around. But Tyler Duncan makes it 6-1 Hamilton on the laser liner up over the middle. The Cardinals open the lead back up to 5, but Cam, if we know anything about Jack Couch Park, 5-run lead, it might as well be a 1-run lead, especially for this Panthers offense. They've only been around the 1 time. This will be their 2nd time through the order. It was Lawson, Ibarra, Fabian. Last time they were up, it was that same order in the 2nd inning. All swinging strikeouts, the 3 of them. We want to see how they bounce back here, because the one good thing there about all those, Cam, was it was a patient trio of strikeouts. They went deep into the count. They saw 5-6 pitches each. You want to see, okay, what did you learn that first time through? Soroski doesn't have a huge mix, but what he throws hard. If he comes back out, I think it'll look very different than if they see Francis Adames for the first time, and I believe it is indeed going to be a new pitcher.
Yep, Francis Adames will come in for the Hamilton Cardinals, and I mean, you know, obviously you talk about that run that the Panthers went on, that run of strikeouts that Lawson, Ibarra, and Fabian experienced. You know, they went deep into the counts, as you said, Marshall, and, you know, they were just trying to get Soroski's pitch count up, you know, in response to the pitch count that Magnetti was at, and, you know, going deep into the at-bats, especially, you know, on the contrary to what they experienced against the Welland Jackfish and what the Panthers have experienced within their last 5-6 games. You know, throwing your offense or throwing your opposing pitcher off in that sense and going deep into counts is everything for them here. And you know what? Like you said, you know, a 5-run lead, it might as well be a 1-run lead. We'll see what Francis Adames can do here for the Cardinals as he'll mix into this one. No action for the Panthers so far in the bullpen as we go to the home half of the fourth here, but Adames will kick in here for the Cardinals, 4-1 on this season with an ERA of 3 in 27 innings pitched. 33 strikeouts as well for him on the season too. He had 50 a year ago, did the native of the DR in his second season in the CBL.
Yep, Freitas will return the second time he'll pitch against Kitchener this season. His first time out, went over 5 innings, had 10 strikeouts, but did allow a 3 on the board there for Kitchener. So they know he's not impenetrable. They know they can put runs by this particular gentleman, but Freitas Adames has been one of the best starters in the league for 2 seasons. And the thing about being a Hamilton Cardinals starter, you don't even have to be the best starter on your own team to be top 3, top 4, top 5 in the league. That pitching staff there for Hamilton, one of the most ridiculous we've seen in the CBL in the 2020s. First pitch from Adames, just a little bit low there to Trent Lawson.
And yeah, this Cardinals rotation so deep, Marshall. Hector Yan with 68 strikeouts this season, Owen Boone with 57. You know, you have 2 other Cardinals who are also league leaders in their category. You know, it's just such a deep rotation that manager Luis Bernardo can turn to day in and day out.
1-1, catches up a little bit to it. Ball in play over the head of the first baseman, making the catch there. On the grab is the first baseman, Herman. Rolls that one away. Not clean on the transfer after the catch, but they don't score those for a reason. 1 out there on the ball up in the air by Trent Lawson. Adames there, the heater is just ridiculous. Some of the best velo you're going to see here in the Canadian Baseball League. This will be his 17th career appearance in his CBL tenure, just his 3rd there out of relief. This kind of a rehab start, you got to think, coming back from injury on the IL a couple weeks ago.
Gets a huge out there to start the outing, and you know, compared to the start that, you know, Mignetti had, you know, for the Cardinals to be able to bring another pitcher into the game and just, you know, sort of go about business as usual here. That's sort of defined their ball game up to this point.
Up into the fencing just in front of us. It's going to be 0-2. Adames there doesn't even give up 1 hit per inning. 20 hits he's given up this year in 27 innings. And even 3 ERA. Just misses wide. The defense wanted that one. Would have been his 34th strikeout. Instead, it'll be 1-2.
And Adames has to come in to face, you know, the likes of Ibarra and Fabian now, the 2 batters for the Panthers who really stretched out the at-bats up against Sorosky their last time out. So, you know, for Adames to come in here and get 1 out, it's huge.
1-2 becomes 1-3. Lets that one go by for a called strike 3 there to Ibarra, his second punch out of the day. Which will bring up Matt Fabian, who was the 3rd of the trio of Ks there in the second inning. He'll look to do something against a different pitcher. That's the unfortunate thing I talked about. Well, you saw Sorosky with quite a few pitches there in that second inning. Take those research notes, throw them in the trash. You see a different pitcher by just the 4th inning. We'll see how deep Adames goes into the game. Obviously, you're coming back from injury. He's typically a guy that can do a solid 5-6 innings on any day. Just misses outside on that one.
Well, so far here in this fourth, he's not looking like a guy who just came back from injury. He's absolutely dealing it here. And, you know, we saw the bats that Lawson and Ibarra had their first time up, and he's made absolutely no mistake in terms of getting them out here, going straight to business and getting 2 quick outs.
We've barely seen a secondary pitch so far from Adames. He's pounding heaters right down the middle, and obviously Sorosky's got some good velo on him, but he was really mixing around his location quite a bit, didn't put too much over the heart of the plate. None of these Kitchener bats have really tried to catch up to such a middle fastball as of yet. Fabian will try to become the first here. 1-1. Gets a piece of that one. Put right at the shortstop. Nickel grabs it on the first bounce. Out to Herman at first. Nice extension to record the 3rd out of the inning. Welcome to the ballgame, Freitas Adames. Similar to Sorosky in his first inning of work here tonight. Quick work there, Cam. Didn't take him too long to get through the 4th.
And the defense showed up there to get that 3rd out as well, but yeah, he was really gunning down the plate there. You know, he said there wasn't a whole lot that he mixed it up with. And, you know, with that 5-run cushion that the Cardinals have, you know, maybe a little bit of an unusual situation for the Panthers to experience, you know, being down by 5 and then having your opponent come in with a pitcher up by 5 runs. Could possibly throw things off a little bit, you know, not necessarily what the middle of that Panthers lineup might have been expecting. and Adamas made quick work of it.
Well, that'll do it for the first 4 innings. We're just a half inning short of halfway here for some Tuesday night Canadian Baseball League action. The visiting Hamilton Cardinals lead the Kitchener Panthers 6-1. When we come back, it'll be Herman, McGill, and Dominguez set to come up for their 3rd time for the Cardinals. We'll be just right back in a moment. It's myself, Marshall Crocker, and Cam Stirrup. Don't go anywhere on KPTV Live.
Looking for your next favorite restaurant, local shop, family activity, or your next home? You'll find it all in Living Local. We're a family-owned publication proudly serving the Waterloo region, connecting readers with businesses, events, and people that make our community thrive. With digital, print, and social media, we're here to help you discover local. And coming soon, our monthly subscription service will deliver Living Local right to your door. Living Local. Discover more close to home.
And it's a pitch fouled back off into the third base side. Welcome back to KPTV Live on a Tuesday night. It is Darlene Herman going to kick it off here for the top of the 5th inning. Hamilton Cardinals lead the Kitchener Panthers 6-1 here at Jack Couch Park. Both teams looking to bounce back from a loss in their previous game. That one put in play out towards third base. Fuji gets the glove on it. A nice throw. Misses it off the far side. Stepping back is Jackson Cook. And the Hamilton Cardinals dugout and fan base maybe not going to think Darlene Herman got all of that run there. Checked up a little bit halfway as a result. Cook takes advantage, and hey, if the base runner's going to give it to you, you're going to take it as a defense. Great throw there by Fuji, just a little bit off the mark, but great pace.
Little redemption there for Yosuke Fuji, having the out that he had put out earlier in the ball game being called back too. That's a great first out for Mignetti and the Panthers at this point. Mignetti now at 81 pitches here in this ball game. In the top of the 5th inning, that's a great start.
So he goes back to the slider here and open up this at bat against Evan McGill. Big 3-run bomb to left field the first time. Another one hit out to left. This one a lower liner. Will it get out of there? It will indeed. Second of the ball game for Evan McGill. The catcher is putting the offense on his back here tonight. Solo shot will make it 7-1 Hamilton.
And he doubles down to that spot once again in left center field. Evan McGill taking Mignetti deep once again there, and you know it's those low liners that at this stadium they have a chance to get out and get out quick, and that one did. Huge homer for the Hamilton Cardinals after that quick out, obviously, start of this half of the inning. Right back to business once again on the offense.
Next up is Carlos Dominguez. Swings and misses past the first one on the inside on the hands. He's struck out both times up today. Responsible for 2 of 7 Ks on the ledger so far for Mignetti. Slider fools Dominguez there, and not too many guys swinging shallow on a slider that breaks outside. A lot of them are at least getting the barrel on it, not getting full contact that time. Got the whiff from Dominguez. Going to take time. He's going to look to avoid going down on strikes 3 times to open up the ball game. Really kind of himself and Yammer Hernandez behind him, really the only 2 that haven't put up much production here today. Rainy Reyes out a hard hit liner, that one that was caught by Scansey, really the highlight defensive play of the day here for today. It's going to be ball 1 there. On a slightly controversial call. We got an arm warming up there for the Panthers. The slider getting a piece of it up into the third base area. Both Ibarra and Fuji back to grab it, but it'll head out of play and a hard whack off the grandstand. Still 1-2. It is going to be Hewitt the man warming up there for the home side. Vignetti gonna likely try to get out of the inning. We might see Hewitt come in early if they think it's better for the matchup against Hernandez. Here's the 1-2. That one is absolutely belted foul, but look out traffic on on 7-8. That one was absolutely blasted.
Huge response here from Dominguez, having struck out twice.
Now up in the air. This one might be playable. Once again, it's going to catch a breeze and trickle its way out behind the fencing.
You know, whereas Vignetti has had a tough point tonight with Evan McGill, it's been the opposite with Carlos Dominguez here, but Dominguez has stretched this at-bat out, maintaining a 1-2 count here. This is kind of maybe the final blow here to Mignetti's night, getting that pitch count up even further.
Dominguez barrels that one. It'll get down in left. Fabian gets there in time. What a first step reaction by the left fielder. That was a ball easily 10 to 15 feet out of his original starting place in left. Awesome first step. Grabs the liner in time. And Dominguez goes down for his third time today, the first time on a ball put in play.
Second ball, the at-bat that Dominguez smacked out to left field there, and that's one that Matt Fabian is going to want to catch. He had a couple out into left field on the ground in the first inning there. Those are two that he didn't want to see there. He made a great catch.
And nothing he can do about the homers. I feel like he was waiting for his opportunity. He made good on it.
He's been active on defense tonight, we'll say that.
That one, once again, going to fool Hernandez there on the strike two. In the low zone, 0-2 the count, 2 outs. Big spot here, Cam Vignetti. One more strike would be huge to get him through 5. Long wait, now he's set, he will deal. This is off the far side, he's got room to play with though, 1-2. Vinny Reyes on deck should he be needed. He's one of just 3 Cardinals left in the ball game to not appear on base at any point. Hernandez, Reyes, and Nickel. Inside on the hands, catches the knob of the bat. Hard velo, and that one gives you a nice little tingle, nice little shock in the hands when you catch a baseball that low down the bat. Gets a piece of it again. Nice job keeping it alive here by the Cardinals. Cardinals bats here. Hewitt warming up. We got to think we'll see him regardless of this inning, but Vignetti would love to just get out of this one. Make it a clean 5 innings and at least limit the number of relievers that have to go from last weekend and in preparation for the weekend ahead. 1-2. Up and in towards the head of the batter Hernandez. Now 2-2. He'll deal again. And that one's put in play. Out towards Fuji on the one-hopper. Plenty of time. Gets it in time. Nice play by the defense once again. Yosuke Fuji has looked sharp out there in the hot corner. And he gets in Cook. Gets it to Cook in time for the third out. The Cardinals extend the advantage a little bit. 7-1 now the lead, but the Kitchener Panthers have 5 more opportunities at minimum on offense. And what do you think? 15 outs, Cam? Plenty of time to go for Kitchener's side with the pop potential and particularly their ability to pick up momentum when they really start to get the ball rolling.
And late in the game is what they did against the Welland Jackfish on Sunday. They were able to scrape 8 runs out of that game in the late innings, hitting 4 home runs quite late in the ball game too. So this Panthers team has the ability to be able to explode on the offense late in the game. Francis Adames has, made that, maybe not likely to be a possibility here just with what he's shown us on the mound so far. But obviously on the other side too, with Ben Hewitt going to be coming in for the Kitchener Panthers too. That's for this Panthers team, a fresh look on the mound, just like it was for Adames and the Cardinals here. That could be the spark that they need on offense. But obviously on the defensive side for the Panthers there, a couple of great throws from Yosuke Fuji to get out of the inning, a great catch as well from Fabian in left field. So, there were sparks of a very firm Kitchener Panthers team that, looks like, they could make something of this game. And, obviously those last couple plays on defense and a fresh look at the mound, too, that might just be what they need.
So the hard-throwing Francis Adames will come back up here for the Cardinals in his second inning of relief, his first start back, or his first appearance back from injury last week. Came off the IL just a couple days ago. Ben Hewitt's probably going to be the man on the mound back when Kitchener returns in the 6th inning on the pitcher's side. But here we go. Jackson Cook was the first base runner here for the Panthers a little bit earlier in the ball game. Got hit by a pitch, was eventually picked off on second. Might be a little bit more conservative on the base paths, but first he has to get there. We'll see what he's got in that bat. First time tonight he's faced Adames.
He's made a couple great plays out at first base, too, as Jackson Cook. He's definitely been very active in the game on both the defensive and offensive side of the ball.
Up in the air. Won't be playable. Fouled off just in front of our commentary booth. Starting to get a little bit cooler here at Jack Couch Park in Kitchener. Plenty of cloud cover. Getting up towards 8:45. Drops in on the breaking pitch. Makes it 0-2.
Brilliant pitch from Adames there. And for Jackson Cook, just all about getting his feet wet here in the CBL, coming over from the University of Pittsburgh here. It's just about feeling out the different pitchers here in the CBL and what the stuff that they can give him.
This is just outside there on the heater. And the batters here the second time through for the Panthers. Again, we talked about nobody here for Kitchener has seen the same pitcher 2 goes around. Cook really hasn't seen a true breaking pitch from Sorowski as he gets that one in play up the middle. Neither defender can get in range. Jackson Cook is on for the second time with his first hit. Kitchener's second hit of the ball game, and it's another single for Jackson Cook.
And it'll be very fascinating to see how he tackles this appearance on the base pass, Marshall. Obviously, ton of action down at second base. His last time up, he was picked off, of course. It's at this point, though, you're down by 6. You know, that 6-run cushion, like we said, it feels like a 1-run cushion here, honestly, at Jack Couch Park. It can turn around at any second. That single there for Cook is huge in this ball game.
Allen just catches the far side of the zone. Now Zane Scansey up for the second time today after he scored on that weird, what became an error there by the second baseman. That little flip play that looked like it was going to be a double play for the Cardinals defense. Instead, both runners stay on. Eventually Cook getting picked off once he got to second there. Drops it in on the slider. Does just catch that inside part of the plate. Really haven't seen the slider too many times here from Adames. He's obviously controlled the heater. I think guys starting to get ready to anticipate it down the middle. He can't just use pure velo. He's got to switch up his mix. What's he do on 0-2 here? Well, inside up on the hands. Just barely misses Scansey. 1-2.
It's rather similar to the speed of the ball that Zane Scansey caught down there
Yes,
at second
indeed.
base earlier in the ball game. Made a highlight reel grab, ducking out of the way of that one there in the batter's box this time around.
1-2 pitch. He'll get him on the outside. Second time we've seen that breaking ball, and that one's going to be for strike 3. I think Scansey was ready to take that one all the way. It never particularly looked like it broke horizontally. That was going on that part of the plate. I think Scansey thought he'd get ball 2. Instead, he gets strike 3. Second of the day for Adames. First looking.
Right on the edge there, that pitch from Adames. Clearly the deception that he has, though, with his mix, getting Scansey there.
Adames first pitch to Fuji, who swings and misses past it. Cook about a 1.5 step lead. He's pretty static out there on first base. Again, probably a little bit hesitant after the back pick in the 3rd inning. 1. Swing and miss past it again is Fuji. A couple heaters on the far side. Both just missing the barrel. It'll be back to the top of the Kitchener order. Goes Vani Penalve now on deck. Adames kicks and deals. And gets ball 1, a little bit low of the zone there.
Great discipline to look that ball off there on 2 strikes for Fuji, the former Gold Glover down at third base here, staying in this one.
1-2 becomes 2-2. He's sticking with the heater, but he's trying to change the eye level a little bit. He's tried it low, he's tried it high. Hasn't really attacked the inside of the lefties. He wants to put pitches, what is, from our perspective, from catcher's perspective, top right of the zone. Doesn't matter the handedness of who he's facing. 2-2. Swings and misses past another high heater. Third punch out for Adames. Second out of the inning.
You know, it's a great third strike there to attack at a batter like Yosuke Fuji. Get him swinging up high. That's a pitch that, you know, might not necessarily work against Yosvani Penalve here. Left-handed batter, a little bit more height on him here. See what phrases Adames attacks Penalve with here, but Jackson Cook still on first base here. The big couple outs for Adames after giving up that single. It's really defined his effort here through 23 pitches.
Penalve gets a piece of that one. A hard hit liner will make its way past the first base spot. Rolling all the way to the fencing and right. Penalve going to run for second. Cook going to make his way all the way to third on the double. Very hard hit line play there, and the defense might have caught him a little bit flat-footed. Nobody was ready for how hard hit that baseball was. Great piece of work by Penalve.
With how hard hit that ball was, I thought it ended up in the glove of Darlin Herman there at first base. But Penalve there with a huge double, two-out double at that to get a couple runners in scoring position here for the man who the Panthers want to see in the batter's box right now, Petey Kiefer.
They do indeed. Anything put in play could avoid the out, could bring one, maybe two home, but one swing of the bat could bring the Hamilton lead to within just 3. Very big moment here for Kiefer as we reach the halfway point of this ball game. Kiefer will swing past the first pitch there from Adames, another low heater. The unsung hero with that last play, Carlos Dominguez, really good job there grabbing the ball off the fence, a quick throw back in. Jackson Cook might have had a chance to come around to score instead. Dominguez holds the runners. That one drops a little bit too low, nicely blocked there by McGill, makes it 1-1.
With the power off the bat there of Penalve, I think the base runners there were more so shocked that, if anything, that, you know, Herman didn't get a glove on that ball. And so, you know, that little bit of a delay there might have brought Jackson Cook home. Instead, he stays at third.
Piece of it there for Kiefer, but it's sent back on the foul ball. Now, Zane Scansey might have had a piece of that one. That looked a little slower than that liner he caught earlier, but he's wearing white and blue tonight. It's 1-2, 2-1. Big pitch here from Adames. Looking for his third punch out. Kiefer just looking to make any sort of productive out here. Misses high, misses wide, makes it 2-2.
It's definitely been the ideal combined right part of the infield there tonight has been Scansey and Herman, as you mentioned there, Marshall. And for Petey Kiefer here, at this point with 2 outs here, 2 runners in scoring position, you know, you just want to get Adames' pitch count up here, see what he's got.
Well wide there on a breaking pitch that I think might have just slipped out of the hand on the release. Full count, 3-2. Big spot for Kiefer and a walk to bring up Rafi Gross. Not the worst outcome here for Kitchener.
And at this point, Kiefer has seen, you know, the majority of what Adames has in his mix here. So at a full count situation, you know, Kiefer's got everything he needs here to make something happen.
Puts that one in play. Poorly chopped right at the second baseman. Should be plenty of time for Brown. It is plenty of time. And they'll strand 2 there on base. Kiefer just didn't quite get all of it. You heard the loud defined pop off the bat. I think he just misses the barrel to put one on the ground. The Cardinals come out with their 6-run lead intact, and they extend it in the top of the inning. Well, we're halfway here on a Tuesday night of baseball action. Whether you're watching us from Kitchener, Hamilton, or anywhere in between, thank you for supporting Canadian baseball. Thank you for watching KPTV Live. Alongside Cameron Stirrup, I'm Marshall Crocker. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a few moments for the top of the 6th inning.
What I look for in a Rawlings is a combination of things. Something that will kind of maintain for a long period of time. I've had a lot of success with Rawlings over the years.
What I like about my Rawlings glove is the feel. The feel is everything. It's good to get that feel in your hands, and when you have a Rawling, it's more easy to catch. Weight goes a long way, and I feel like Rawlings does a really good job of getting you top of the line leather.
As far as the leather, I usually stick to Pro Preferred.
I've actually always used Pro Preferred. I loved it from the start, so I'm kind of a guy, if I like something, I usually don't change it. So since the first day I signed with Rawlings, I've been using Pro Preferred.
What I like about my Rawlings glove is it's always felt the same. And it never falls apart. It feels good every single day I put it on my hand.
and it's the mark of a pro.
And welcome back to KPTV Live here on a Tuesday night. A beautiful, dark, cloudy summer night, but still warm enough that we're having a beautiful, lovely time here. The fans in attendance at Jack Couch Park. They're hoping for a turnaround, but before we can get back to the offense, we've got a new pitcher on the mound here for Kitchener. It's the young man, 21-year-old righty Ben Hewitt. What do we know about him, Cam? What can we expect as he faces Hamilton in their third time through the order?
Well, Ben Hewitt with a 5.48 ERA on the season so far, 25 strikeouts to his name. His last appearance was in the loss to the Barrie Bay Cats a few nights ago, where he went 3 innings. He's had a bit of a tough go so far this season within the majority of his appearances, but he's a guy who he can settle in to sort of the middle part of the game, later in the game. He's a guy that Pete Kiefer has gone to just to sort of mix things up a little bit and possibly throw the opposing team off a little bit.
And you see there on the bottom left of your screen, if you're looking to make your own trip to Jack Couch Park, enjoy some Tuesday night baseball, Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, any night of the week. If you want some baseball action here in Kitchener, get your Panthers tickets there on the bottom left side of your screen. QR code will take you to the portal where you can make your own way out here. Lots of fun activation games. I still keep my cowboy hat proudly displayed from Country Western night. Lots of fun activities going on here. And that one put up, foul over the first base grandstand. I don't know what you, Cam. I've yet to get my hands on a hopefully still available Berlin Keg Tappers jersey. I know London's trying to win with quantity. London's got a new jersey every other game. I think they hate their primaries, but in terms of quality, I think that jersey was one of the best of the season. I love a jersey. The upper half ties into the pants. That was perfectly executed lederhosen by a guy with German ancestry.
Well, Marshall, as Mark Perry has said on many a broadcast before, there's Keg Tappers gear with your name on it.
Has he really?
The Kitchener Panthers store, yes, indeed. So
there you go.
Check out the Panthers store for all your Keg Tappers gear.
For all your lederhosen needs. Well, Ben Hewitt, welcome to the ball game. A quick strikeout looking to retire Rainy Reyes as he opens up his appearance in the ball game. Jaden Brown has been hot on defense aside from the one defensive error, and now comes up with 2 singles in the ball game. Looks at strike 1 down the middle.
And for Hewitt, this is a big appearance to try and turn things around quite a bit, get that ERA down, and go through a Cardinals lineup here.
Chopped in play over Hewitt's glove, out at second. Scansey gets it on a weird hop off the grass. And a quick inning starting to come together here in the top of the 6th. That was like a weird deflection diagonally as it bounced between the grass and the dirt. Scansey was ready, and he gets it there in time for out number 2.
Yeah, but this is an opportunity for Ben Hewitt to really test his mettle here against the Cardinals lineup, who tested Mignetti, obviously early in the game, got his pitch count up pretty quickly. It's a great test for Ben Hewitt here.
First pitch wide, taken for ball 1 here by Trevor Nickel, the designated hitter. Brandon Nickel 2 for 3 here today with a pair of singles. Trevor looking to get on the board himself. Swings and misses past another one. He's really been aggressive. He's been attacking early in the counts, and Ben Hewitt's looking to take advantage. This would be the quickest we've seen any Panthers arm get through an inning yet today. 1-1. Drops it low, makes it 2-1.
And yeah, this is a great start for Ben Hewitt here to get these 2 outs here, minimize the damage with a new arm on the mound.
Went up a little bit high. You gotta wonder what the Panthers bench told him before he headed out in the ball game. What is he expected to do in terms of longevity? The Panthers might try to wrap this one up with just Hewitt and one more arm. Misses wide. Great discipline there by Nickel on those last 2 pitches. He'll take just the first walk of the day here today for the Hamilton Cardinals. The Panthers have put some stuff in play, particularly in the early innings, but they've done a really good job there. Control the zone, pound the attack. Know you have a little bit of wiggle room. They've been trying some swing and miss stuff outside the zone in the middle of counts, but more or less, not too many balls missing the plate there. That'll be the first base on balls the Panthers have given away.
Yeah, it is unfortunate for the Panthers that the Cardinals have put the bats to the balls that have gone across the plate, and obviously for for a guy like Hewitt here to get those 2 outs, absolutely huge.
Tyler Duncan takes a massive hack and whiffs on that one. It's 2 for 3 today has been the day for Tyler Duncan, but he's been extra effective out there on defense and his limited opportunities there as well. Had the RBI to open the scoring up to 6-1 back in the 4th inning. Looks at a controversial ball 1, evens the count at once.
And for Ben Hewitt, especially with the Kitchener Panthers going through the gauntlet of the Welland Jackfish and London Majors coming up, going on the road to play those 2 games, his performance here is going to dictate what Pete Kiefer does on the mound
Up
going
in the
forward.
air, should be playable for Gross. He's waving off Fabian, and he'll make the grab. Nicely caught there to end a quick top of the 6th inning. Duncan didn't quite get all of it on a pitch, a little bit up high out of his range. Well, Ben Hewitt there, he's looking to get through this at a little bit of pace, a little bit of tempo, and that's the thing, like I said, again, with the weekend we just played, a lot of arms going to be unavailable who pitched Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and more baseball coming up later this week for the Panthers. You want to try to limit the arms you're playing, and Ben Hewitt's doing a good job getting through this with rapid succession. We're going to see it's going to be the 3, 4, and 5. The next couple up here, 2, 3, 4, Nickel, Herman, and McGill will return in the top of the 7th.
Perfect start for Ben Hewitt. That's exactly what the Kitchener Panthers ordered there in terms of Pete Kiefer dipping into the bullpen there. Very welcome sight for a Panthers squad who, couldn't seem to do anything right against the Welland Jackfish last time out at this ballpark. So that's a very welcome sight for Ben Hewitt in terms of getting stuck in here and getting to this Cardinals offense here, hopefully to turn it around for his offense on the other side here with a new arm on the mound too for the Hamilton Cardinals coming in.
Yes, indeed. It's going to be Casey Howard, the 12-year Canadian Baseball League veteran. Will relieve Francis Adames, who went perfect through his 2 innings. Not perfect in the literal sense, but held the Kitchener Panthers off the board quite well. Like we speculated, coming back off the IL, just a rehab appearance there, but Adames looked effective. Howard's going to try to follow him up quite well, and, well, the ledger there for Howard, former champion of this league, and like I said, longtime veteran, has played for Welland, Hamilton, and back in 2014, 15, 16, the Brantford Red Sox. What can we tell us, Cam, about what to expect from Booyah Howard?
Yep, the 12-year veteran of the CBL, Marshall. Howard coming into this season here. ERA of just under 6, 8 innings pitched to this point out in the season so far for him. A couple strikeouts in relief efforts, but, in the game against Chatham Kent a week ago, which was his last appearance, he went an inning and 2/3, gave up a run on 2 hits as well. So, for the Panthers, this is an opportunity. This is as good of an opportunity as they've had all night to try and get back into this one. 3 hits on the board so far for Pete Kiefer's offense, down by 6 at this point. And Rafi Gross, who homered in the ball game on Sunday here against Welland, is the perfect guy to start off that hopeful offensive surge for the Panthers here.
Rafi Gross 0 for 2 coming into his 3rd at bat. Ground out and a fly out to center. His day so far. First pitch from Booyah Howard, well inside, nearly catches him up on the hands. Looking around the league here, the Guelph Royals. Midway part of that ball game at Hastings against the London Majors. They lead it 1-0. That game going to be important here for the Hamilton Cardinals, who are looking for their own 18th win. They currently come in 17-11. The Guelph Royals 17-13 into tonight's ball game. The Cardinals have had quite a few games in hand this season, just like last year. Had a lot of games out there in Hamilton get delayed in the early season. That one is put in play. Out there towards 3rd. Reyes gets the glove on it. Plenty of time on the throw. But what a job running it out there for Gross. Made it close, but the bang-bang play goes the way of the defense. It'll be a ground out there for Rafi.
Yep, Rainy Reyes had to make quick work of that one down at 3rd base. The speed of Rafi Gross. Catching him a little bit off guard there. Really had to whip that ball over there to 1st base there to hit the glove of Darlin Herman, but going to that out-of-town score, like you just mentioned, Marshall, the Guelph Royals in a great spot here against the London Majors, up by a run. The Royals are in that 5th and final playoff spot at the moment. The London Majors in 2nd place in the league. If the Royals can kind of play spoiler in that sense and make it little bit tougher for those teams up at the top there. It's where it will shake up a bit in terms of the top 5.
1-0 becomes 1-1 right down Main Street there against Trent Lawson, who comes into his third plate appearance as well. Also 0 for 2 there. Popped it up to the first baseman last time. Was part of the trio of strikeouts for Kitchener in the second inning. Perhaps that one low. A little bit of frustration from Howard on the release. 2-1.
And Lawson was also one of the first batters to face Francis Adames when he came into this ball game too, having a look here at another Cardinals pitcher coming into this ball game here. It's, for Lawson, hasn't necessarily had a chance to really settle into this ball game and get a chance to put a bat onto the ball with the pitching turnover. He's kind of been honestly in this game, the guinea pig rather for the Kitchener Panthers. One of them in that sort of middle part of the lineup to sort of test out the arms of the Cardinals here.
Swings and doesn't quite get all of a pitch that goes low and in the dirt. So it'll be 2-2. Like you said, Lawson, this will be the third different pitcher he's faced. What's the saying? Variety is the spice of life. If he strikes out again, I don't think he's going to agree. 2-2. Gets a piece of it. Just barely put left, foul down the third base side. Now on deck is Junior Ibarra, who will also see his third different pitcher. Howard will deal. This is wide. Really nice take there from Trent Lawson.
That's been the beauty of Trent Lawson's game. Although he hasn't been able to get the bat onto the ball, he's gone deep into at-bats and really test the arm of the Cardinals pitchers here.
Full count. Put out in the air, out of left center. Might be in playable range, gets down. Did he make that catch? Oh my goodness. Sprawls out to grab it. What a grab there by Tyler Duncan. He's a big man, he's a great athlete, and he's got long range as a taller center fielder. Not many players can get to that baseball. Tyler Duncan robs Trent Lawson of a base hit.
Lawson smoked that ball out to left center field there. Tyler Duncan's really been the Swiss Army knife really in the lineup for the Cardinals tonight. He's done it at the plate, and he's also done it out in the outfield. That is an unbelievable dive to get that ball.
So that first pitch misses wide here as Ibarra comes up for a third time. We'll give credit to Lawson there on a 3-2 count. That is a really good swing of the bat, really good contact. Unfortunately, just barely within the fielding range of Duncan. Now one out in the air, similar spot out to left center. Duncan should get under this one as well. He will toward the third out of the inning. A quick 3 up, 3 down once again. Howard doing a good job limiting hard contact, and that means the 3, 4, 5, 6 there for Kitchener. Still yet to record a base runner. Matt Fabian's going to get an attempt to try to turn that over and change that fortune when he comes up to start this 7th. For Hamilton, we're going to turn over here in just a few moments. Brandon Nickel, Darlene Herman, and Evan McGill will make their 4th trip here to the plate. Looks like it'll be Hewitt back on the bump for the home side. Once again, don't go anywhere. We're going to take a quick break away when we return. 3 innings left to go here for Tuesday night action at Jack Couch Park. Marshall Crocker alongside Cam Stirrup. We'll be right back on KPTV Live.
At the Carpet Store in Kitchener, we've been flooring homes and businesses for over 30 years. Family run, local, and proud.
From carpet to hardwood, luxury vinyl, tile, and more, we offer free measures, no commitment quotes, and expert installation.
With Canadian-made options and solutions for any budget, our team is with you from start to finish. New builds, renovations, commercial jobs, we handle it all. Visit the Carpet Store Kitchener, where great floors begin.
Welcome back to KPTV Live. Happy Tuesday as the Hamilton Cardinals lead the Kitchener Panthers 7-1 as we get set for the top of the 7th inning. Hewitt still on the mound. There you see our links for the social media for the Kitchener Panthers. Whether it's Instagram or now X, YouTube, anywhere you want to get your fix of all the latest on the Kitchener Panthers, where we're going to be, what's going on, and lots more great content on Facebook as well. All those links up in the top left of your screen. 1-0. Becomes 2-0 as Brandon Nickel takes a big swing and a miss past it. 1-1. Now here to the shortstop. 2 for 3 today. A pair of singles in the first 2 innings, and he struck out swinging back in the 4th to Jorge Mignetti. Right down Main Street, Hewitt really attacking down the middle of the zone. The Cardinals haven't seen much of that today. I think it's caught him on the back foot. Now 1-2. What does Hewitt go to for strike 3? Up in the air on the breaking pitch. Might be in play for Ibarra. He's going to range of the fence for that one, just barely short of the chain link. I think he wishes he'd taken a quicker step on that one as the wind is starting to pick up here. A little bit of a breeze, and it appears it's blowing its way out back onto the field from behind home plate.
Have to make mention of Brandon Nickel's last 3 games. 4 for 6 against the London Majors, 3 for 5 against the Welland Jackfish, and then 3 for 5 as well in the last outing against the Kitchener Panthers. His bat has been as hot as ever.
That one barely misses third base. Yeah, Brandon Nickel's putting up basketball free throw percentage numbers as his batting average. He's long been one of the best in the league on defense. And for the Cardinals, who, you know, their pitching, their starting pitching rotation has been well established, and it's why a lot of people still consider them even if they play a Welland or a London in the first round of the playoffs. They're going to give him that for strike 3, much to the chagrin of Brandon Nickel. Second punch out, second looking for Mr. Ben Hewitt there. But yeah, the Cardinals there, you know, all this hype is around the starting pitching rotation, and it's the same as last year's playoffs. All the fear is, okay, well, you got to play 2 or 3 of the best starters in the league in a short first-round series. That's why Welland, London, Barrie, they're going to have it, you know, they're going to be looking over their shoulder at this Hamilton team, worried about the first round. But if the bats like Nickel, like Tyler Duncan, who started out a little bit slow, if these guys with prowess start to hit the way that their previous production suggests, there might not be a better team above the playoff cut line currently than the Cardinals. They just got to start putting wins together, and well on their way to doing so here as strike 1 is called there on Darlene Herman. That one's up in the air once again, going to go foul over the fencing.
You pick up steam like the Cardinals have at this point of the season, Marshall. You know, it's anybody's race up at the top there. You know, you talked about obviously the top 3 being as formidable as they have been all season. Hamilton are very much in that mix.
That one up in the air once again, going to go out of play. Hewitt's throwing hard. Herman hasn't been able to catch up quite yet. 1 for 3, but the one was an RBI single that opened the scoring back in the first inning. A little bit inside, no swings as the first base umpire. Evan McGill about to come up. He's on deck, getting ready for his 4th trip to the plate. 2 homers, 4 RBIs. He's trying to equal Logan Grant from Sunday, go for his 3rd homer of the ball game. Swings and misses on a wipeout slider. My goodness, what a pitch by Hewitt. That's why you establish the heater. So when you get that wipeout slider off the plate against a righty, they really bite. You get a big whiff like he just got there. 3rd K for Ben Hewitt.
Ben Hewitt is really stuck in here brilliantly to retire the likes of Nickel and Herman. That's no small task at all. Nickel in particular, you know, it's been 6 games since he's hit below 500 across a single game. To get that out was absolutely huge. And then Herman as well to retire 2 of the opening 3 batters here for the Hamilton Cardinals in the heart of their lineup. Absolutely huge considering the past appearances of Hewitt on the mound too. This is definitely a welcome sight.
That one missed somewhere for ball 1, evens the count at 1 apiece. Evan McGill, all 3 of his at-bats, including both home runs there, were against Mignetti. This is the first time he's faced Hewitt today. Swings and misses past another heater. Hewitt's got really good control. He can really put that fastball on any of the outside edges.
And he's putting that on display here. Brilliant test, too, against McGill with 2 homers on the game, as you mentioned.
That one Once again, going to be fouled off to the third base side. Hewitt's doing such a good job with the heater that, like I said, not many of the Cardinals bats saw, certainly not at this velo in the first 5 innings. So because they're trying to catch up to it, a lot of guys fouling the ball a little bit late behind it off to the third base side. Gets himself in 2 strike counts, and Hewitt's finished them. That one put right at Scansey. Gloves it on the spin. Slick play there by the second baseman. Zane Scansey has come to play here today. What's his play of the game? Take your pick. That was pretty nifty. That one's got the most, as the kids would say, aura, but I'd still give it to that liner from earlier.
Well, the rookie Zane Scansey. Obviously his first season in the CBL, but shades of what could be a Gold Glove career for the Panthers second baseman. He has made a couple of brilliant snags at second base to keep the Cardinals off the base paths there. And that really complemented that effort there from Ben Hewitt to get the heart of the Cardinals lineup to go out and bring that ERA down, which was for him personally, but also for the Panthers as a team, the main goal in the middle of this game, to try and kickstart their own offense in the late stages, as they have done at points this season at home when they've been down by this margin. But it's wide open here for the Panthers now going into the bottom of the 7th here after the stretch.
Looks like Howard's going to return to the mound. I've really been trying to get it going here, Cam. No broadcast has done it, but it feels like open territory. Why don't broadcasters sing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" live over the airwaves? I've long thought. I've never thought of myself as a trailblazer, but what are the other 8 broadcasts in the league? Well, we got to get it going. The fans would sing along at home. I don't know about you. I always just hum it to myself when I'm watching a game on TV. You pick it up. I don't know. It's my favorite tradition in baseball.
It's the choice of whether to sing or to hum. That's it's a choice that many fans have to make.
That's right.
And we may have to flip the camera around here possibly to maybe catch the last little bit of it here.
Like special outfit for it again. This is just an idea. I'm spitballing for the other broadcasts. We won't do it, but we're real free thinkers here. I just think it would be a great idea for engagement. I don't know how a team in the Canadian Baseball League yet doesn't have a bad dog. Like, I've been over this 1,000 times. Every team does bark in the park. No bat dog in the Canadian Baseball League. It's open territory.
It just makes sense.
Right? There's all
hot dogs, bark in the park, as you mentioned. There are too many dog references.
Maybe. Well, Arnold Anderson Stadium's right around the corner from Humane Society. We are right here. I'm just saying. The talent's out there. We just got to utilize it. And the breaking ball drops in as Matt Fabian will open up the bottom of the 7th inning, facing Howard in his 2nd inning of work and relief. Fabian cooks Scansey, the 3-up here. Oh, misses low, misses wide, off the dirt. Nicely gloved by McGill to make it 1-1.
This is where the latter part of the Panther lineup really has to get the bats to the ball. Fabian, of course, hitless on the night so far. Scansey hitless. Fuji also hitless as well. It's really Jackson Cook that's really had the most action on the base paths in that bottom part of the Panther lineup.
You could say he's been cooking. I won't. Somebody else could say it.
That might become his trademark here. It's still early in his CBL career, but I think you're onto something here, Marshall.
1-2. Howard versus Fabian. And rolls away on what looks to possibly be strike 3 instead. 2-2.
For Howard, too, it's looking like just another day at the office for him, too. He's a guy who hasn't gone over 2 innings this season, but that's really his bread and butter, coming in to really try to close out a game here and really put the opposing offense to bed.
Drops in for strike 3. Fools him on the slow-rolling breaking ball on the far side. A bit of a discussion here. Fabian, frustrated, sat down looking there on strikes for his 2nd time today. Yeah, Howard's long been the kind of the setup man for this Hamilton Cardinals team. Often pitches the 6th, 7th, 8th innings. He's going to potentially look to go 3, or we'll see if the Cardinals have an extended save situation in the 8th and 9th. Here is Jackson Cook, and 2 attempts, 2 successes when it comes to getting on base. One of them hit by pitch, and then the single back in the 5th. 1-0. Howard once again frustrated as the ball, I think, just slips out of his hand. 2-0.
To come back to Howard, too, obviously, with just the veteranosity he has in the league, the moves that the Cardinals made at the trade deadline, you know, dipping into their youth system, but also bringing in new faces to the team as well. You know, the veteran presence of a guy like Howard, too, has to make guys feel really comfortable as they get into the team, and it could definitely be a factor here as the Cardinals look to push for, you know, a top 3 spot in this league as the season dies down.
3-0 becomes 3-1. Howard stays alive there. Cook watches that one go by on the far side. I guess for Hamilton, that one's in on the hands of Jackson Cook. He'll get on with a free pass for the second time today. First on a walk. What a day for the new face to Kitchener here, doing a good job making a mountain out of a molehill, having a good individual day, even if the bats in that bottom part of the lineup for Kitchener have been a little slower.
Yep, his discipline at the plate has definitely been something to note, especially hitting in that 7 spot, you know, down in the lineup. You know, this could possibly be a sign for Pete Kiefer, you know, to, you know, maybe keep him at this spot, but also maybe test him up maybe higher in the lineup, see what he can do in a higher spot.
Nicely caught there by McGill before it goes by him. So Cook now on first. Scansey up here for his 3rd time here today. Again, got on base on the E4 back in the 2nd inning. 3rd inning, pardon me. He's been really the MVP of this ballgame on defense. What can he do on offense? Watches that one that just catches the inside low part of the plate. Scansey's been frustrated with a couple calls here tonight. Add that one to the ledger. One. That call's going to go the way of the batter this time on the pitch low and inside. 2-1 as Cook, very conservative leadoff there on first. He'll sometimes take a half step out to 1.5, but more or less right on the bag. They're going to give the call to the pitcher this time on the far side. The margin's very close. Howard doing a really good job placing his pitches on the outside of the zone. Just missed a couple against Cook, and he made him pay. What does Scansey do here on 2-2? That one put in play. Baltimore chopped up in the air, into the glove. The shortstop for 1. The second for 2. Not in time there at first. As Scansey is going to do a good job there to leg it out, as he often does. Again, we talked about the value of speed isn't just for steals. Sometimes it's to leg out a ground ball.
Yeah, it was the speed of Scansey there that took away that 6-4-3 to get a couple outs there for the Cardinals, as they do get Jackson Cook at second. But Scansey, with the defensive prowess that he's demonstrated so far in this game, Marshall, as you mentioned, to get on base. Once again, he reached on a fielder's choice his first time up. Absolutely huge for the Panthers, and he's also another guy with speed too, you know, in the absence of, you know, someone like Matteo Zeppieri, who, you know, you'd love in this situation right now to be aggressive and steal a base. Jackson Cook too, I got to give him his flowers as well, coming in for Malik Williams, you know, an everyday player who is a premier player in the CBL, second in terms of batting average for qualified players is Malik Williams. Cook has definitely been on the base paths tonight as well, and he's had his time to shine too. Scansey has also done just that.
And that'll be the end of the night for Casey Howard, a strong inning in 2/3, but a new arm is going to come in here for the Hamilton Cardinals. It's going to be Chris Bodo, number 39, the new man, who may try to go the rest of the way. Boado has, generally speaking, looked quite good in the appearances I've seen this season. I believe he's pitched in both of Hamilton's games so far this year in Brantford.
7th appearance on the season for Boado here. Last took to the mound a few days ago in the loss to Welland, where he went 2/3 of an inning in that one. 1 strikeout. And so far on this season, still at 0-0. Was 0-2 last year, had a couple of losses go his way, unfortunately. The former Welland Jack Fish, of course, the 9-year veteran of the CBL coming in here, the Cardinals rather, dipping into their veteran part of the rotation here to test the Kitchener Panthers here late in this ball game.
Well, you want a shutdown arm to close it out? No runs allowed, only 2 hits through 6 1/3 this season. That's the profile of who could become effectively the future closer of this bullpen. Obviously, highly publicized Mr. Fernando Rodney was released there by the Hamilton Cardinals, which you kind of saw coming. Appearances started to wane there in the end of last season, and of course, this year he leaves the team entirely. But he made a great mark there in Hamilton. I know he was a great personality there to that fan base, to that clubhouse, and I know it's often widely publicized, right? These former MLB guys or even these major MLB minor leaguers that come over, they play in the CBL. It brings a lot of notoriety, a lot of eyeballs to the league. It's good for marketing. But even aside from that, I've heard really good stories about a lot of these longtime veterans or even guys that come over after a decade plus in Venezuela or Mexico. These players from other leagues, different view of the game, different approach. They can bring in different just cultural trademarks of baseball that I think make a clubhouse better. And I always heard Rodney did a good job of that in Hamilton. He now leaves the Canadian Baseball League, I believe, just a year short of turning 50 years of age. Here's Boato. Well, his first pitch thrown to the ball game is an attempted pick there on first. Scansey back in time, but he had to lay out to do it. Fuji up for his third time today.
Getting aggressive right off the bat there, trying to throw over to get Scansey at first. Setting the tone a little bit here for this appearance.
Boato misses up a little bit high there against Fuji, 1-0.
And Boato, you can see he's constantly looking over at first base there towards Herman to see if Scansey is going to test him here.
Probably feels like not much to lose to Scansey. Swings and misses past that one, does Fuji to even the count. And yeah, I mean, if you're Scansey, keep his eyeballs moving. There's been a lot of errant throws, even by great pitchers this year, trying to get that pick at first, just missing high over the first baseman. Try to force a mistake. Scansey's got nothing to lose, and if you do get the steal, you put yourself in position for a single from Fuji to score you. Swings and misses on a pitch well inside, but he almost got a piece of it with the bat. 1-2.
Couple big hacks there from Fuji on pitches on the inside there. Fuji's mind is on putting the ball in the outfield there and advancing Scansey to make his life a little bit easier without having to run all the way down there.
Swings and misses past another one. That'll be strikeout number 9 on the day there for the Cardinals staff as a whole. Boato looked very strong, the first batter he faces, and like we alluded to, he may be the man to go the rest of the way there for the Cardinals side. 7 innings down, only 2 left to go here on KPTV Live. Coverage of the Hamilton Cardinals here on the road against the Kitchener Panthers. The Panthers looking to get back in the win column. The Cardinals looking to break a 2-game slump, and they're well on their way towards doing so. But don't go anywhere. We'll be right back for the start of the 8th inning in a few moments. Marshall Crocker and Cam Stirrup will join you back in just a moment. Welcome back on KPTV Live. There on the right side of your screen, you see the next 5 games there for the Kitchener Panthers. It'll be on the road. It'll be kind of a revenge game on Thursday against the Welland Jackfish in their ballpark in Welland. And on the road again in London and Guelph Friday, Saturday on the weekend. So another busy 3 games in 3 days period. That one first pitch in there on strike 1 there. And then it's going to be back here Tuesday night baseball, but not here at Couch. The road trip continues. It's Chatham-Kent a week today. That'll be on August 4th. And then the Guelph Royals will be the next ball game after that. That's the next 5 for the Kitchener Panthers. Again, most of them on the road. One last opportunity here, Cam, at home at Jack Couch Park, and then get the bus warmed up. It is going to be plenty of road action for the Panthers.
That might just be what they need. Possibly a change of scenery and
saw a bouncer. They're going to call it back and reset. As Dominguez up, Carlos Dominguez for his 4th time. The pair of strikeouts, then a hard hit liner, that really nice catch by Fabian that somehow feels like it was an eternity ago. That was back in the 5th inning. Dominguez, Yammer Hernandez, and Rainy Reyes, the 3. Up high, up inside, makes it 2-2.
Yeah, the Panther staff have been able to get to Dominguez quite well tonight. One of the Cardinals batters, again, above 300. Seasoned home run hitter, too.
Swing and miss, punch out right down Main Street there. Really effective work there by Hewitt. Effective work by the soundboard operator. Everybody in fine form here at Jack Couch Park.
Left fielder, number 19, Yammer Hernandez.
Another huge punch out there for Ben Hewitt. You know, his performance here tonight is going to be huge, Marshall, of course, with the Panthers going on the road for that stretch of games, as you mentioned. That might just be what they need, though, to, you know, get out of town, get into a different ballpark, feel out the dimensions a little bit, get some different things cooking here. That might just be what this Panthers team needs, once again, to attack that gap that Guelph has set, although Guelph not making it that hard for, or not making it easy for the Panthers either. Up 4-0 now on the London Majors in the bottom of the 7th of that game at Hastings Stadium.
Yeah, Elvin Liriano shut out through 5 innings in that start there, and he looks well on pace towards recording his 5th win of the season, although the London Majors, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the best run differential in the final 3 innings of ball games this season. They are clutch late. That one put in play up into left field. Fabian just a few steps in front of him. The ball will come down. Stand-up single there for Hernandez. Finally gets himself on the board here in the 8th inning.
The third baseman, number 27.
And I mean, for this outing for Ben Hewitt, that's a little bit of change of pace, having a ball hit hard into left field there.
Having a ball hit at all.
Exactly.
He has been really effective tonight.
That was the Cardinals at the start of the game, getting to Mignetti quite early out into left field in front of Matt Fabian there.
So that's the first hit by the 5, 6, 7 part of the lineup here for Hamilton. The first productive out there as well. They were 0 for 10 in that middle part of the lineup. Swings and misses past that first pitch. Does Rainy Reyes? Most of the damage here from Hamilton has been at the top. It's been at the bottom. It's been Duncan Nickel. That's Brandon Nickel, Darlin Herman, and then specifically Jaden Brown there in the 8th spot have been effective today.
Seasoned guys who have been at the top of the lineup for so long.
It's a piece of that one, tipped back down, and another big spot here for Hewitt, who will look at 0-2. That's the thing about Jack Couch Park, and that's the thing about such an offensive environment, is that big 3-run shot from McGill, right? You score 2 guys at first and second. I think on a mental edge, if you reorder all these innings, because Kitchener's done a really nice job at shutting down Hamilton, keeping them to small innings, small bursts. I think if you reorder these innings and, you know, this started a little bit slower. It was just a 1-0, 2-0 ball game at the beginning. The Panthers kind of, the offensive batters had a little bit less urgency. I wonder if things would have gone different, because the Kitchener staff's done a good job since then. Up and over the head of the Baltimore chop of the first baseman as the runner will come around second. Going to dig for third. He'll creep his way back, and he almost gets tagged on the way back there as well. The base runners starting to get a little bit lenient for Hamilton. Nearly got caught out, but Rainy Reyes puts one in play for a single.
Cardinals cooking here with a couple of men on base here.
Number 6, Jaden Brown.
And as you talked about, Marshall, with the, you know, just the dimensions and how early the offense have gotten to the Kitchener Panthers here in this ballpark, the Hamilton Cardinals doing just that in this game here. Sort of bitten the Panthers a little bit against, obviously, Welland and Barrie this past weekend, too.
First pitch up high here to Jaden Brown, who got a call of let's keep it going there from the Hamilton bench as he came up. Trying to get that next man up mentality they had in the first inning back, as iron seems to sharpen iron here when Hamilton really gets going. 2 for 3 today. Allen misses off the far side, rolls away. Nice job getting there quick by Ibar to freeze the runners. Holds Hernandez at second, Reyes at first. 2-0, 1 out to Jaden Brown. He's got a pair of singles.
And before his effort of 2 singles in this game, he only had 1 hit against the Panthers. That was back in the Cardinals home opener on May 15th.
Swings and misses past that one to make it 2-1. Hewitt looking for punch out number 4 on the night in this at bat. Piece of that one fouled straight down. I think caught him in the upper right leg. A lot of tip balls tonight. Just a lot of Hamilton bats that come close but can't quite time it up. For the most part, I think we've seen all these guys against Hewitt in particular, because he has that heater. Again, we didn't see from Mignetti early. I think the Cardinals have done a better job catching up to it, but it was ridiculous how many foul balls they were putting off to the third base side just because they couldn't catch up. I think the Cardinals bats, the second time through seeing Hewitt, seem to have a slightly better handle.
Definitely given likes of Fuji and Fabian a bit of action tonight of the balls down the left side of the field.
That one bounces in the dirt, bounces away. Once again, nicely blocked by Junior to freeze the base runners where they are. Now full count here. This could be a big pitch here for Hewitt. If he wants to keep the gap to just 6, give his offense a chance. Not too bad here at Couch. 3 runs per inning they need to average in the bottom 8, bottom 9. We know the Kitchener offense certainly has that in them on their night. That one is very hard struck off into the parking area here out towards the Kitchener Memorial Auditorium area. One out, full count. Man on first and second. Brown's up, Trevor Nickel behind him. That one once again going to be fouled off down the first base side.
Staying alive here in this at-bat, and, you know, I mean, for Ben Hewitt, this is honestly an outing that Pete Kiefer would be pretty happy with, you know, getting to this point in the ball game under 50 pitches. You know, he went 3 innings in Barrie a few days ago. You know, he's been able to work this Cardinals lineup pretty well.
Got him on strike 3, looking bottom corner. Hewitt picks his spot perfectly. And Brown was pulling a Bee Gees. He was staying alive, but now he's taking the strut back to the dugout. If it was in Bee Gees fashion, he'd also have 2 others alongside him. But
he wish he was dancing. Let's just say that.
He should be dancing.
He should be dancing.
Instead, he's sitting on the bench. Here's Trevor Nickel up for his 4th time today. He did yeoman's work there. I forgot a second Bee Gees song.
I had to dig that one out myself.
That's why they put 2 commentators in the booth. Double the Bee Gees references. That one's inside and low.
2 more than you might get on any other day.
Oh, boy. 1-1. 2 outs, 2 on. Trevor Nickel gets a piece of that one. Puts it back off the fencing. They make it 1-2. Hewitt just 1 pitch away from the 3rd in a streak of very successful relief innings.
And he has worked the top of this Cardinals lineup brilliantly in particular.
This is high and wide. Makes it 2-2.
Something for Pete Kiefer to keep note of in terms of Hewitt's future appearances this season, in terms of getting in against lineups that can put the bat to the ball, getting Hewitt into the game here. This is a brilliant outing.
Wild break on almost looked like a sweeper there as a pitch that drops in to make it 3-2. Full count here. Another big spot here against Trevor Nickel. Been on base today with a walk. He does not have a hit. And he still doesn't. Swings and misses underneath one. As it's another punch out there for Hewitt. Make that number 5 through 3 innings. You don't get a much better 3-inning run here than what Hewitt's done tonight. And it's not just been, you know, the velocity we saw there early. He's incorporated the break, not so much as a swing and a miss thing, although we got a good miss there on the breaking pitch low. But I like it as guys that really switch up their offering that second time around the order look like a different pitcher. Just flip a switch. That's what makes you valuable in these games. And I think we talked about it before with all these games that are going to condense through the month of August, and it's ridiculous. Like the Hamilton Cardinals, let me just do the mental math here. I don't know their schedule offhand, but 28 games. Tonight's their 29th. They got to play 48 by the end of August. They're going to play 19 baseball games in the next, 30-something days. So it's going to be ridiculous. But what's going to separate the best teams from the rest is going to be relievers or closers that can add a couple extra innings here and there, right? Instead of a 5-pitcher night, if you can consolidate it to 3, You don't need to be perfect. You don't have to have that first inning reliever pop for your entire appearance. But if you look like a different pitcher, if you completely switch your profile, keep the offenses guessing, and you can go further into ball games, that's going to be valuable. Because if we have any more I think a couple teams might have 5 games in 6-day stretches down the rest of the season. It becomes a math problem. You physically can't produce enough good pitchers to go these deep ball games. I know in Brantford we have Christian Kazemko, one of our utility men, go out there and pitch innings. He's actually a former pitcher, so good to have that versatility. But just that ability to switch up as a reliever. Okay, I don't need to be effective. Maybe I'm a 1.5 ERA guy, right? I can be a 3, a 4 ERA guy. Longevity is going to be more valuable to my mix, and I think some guys are going to have to make that transition. Hewitt today seems like he might be a candidate for that.
I was about to say, he's the kind of guy who can sort of take on that role, Marshall, in terms of being that guy. And this effort tonight is definitely going to turn Keith Piefer's head. That's the way this has gone for me tonight, hasn't it, Marshall? Pete Kiefer's head in terms of looking at Hewitt further into ball games here and going with him on the mound. You know, he's brought his ERA down exponentially so far throughout this effort. And that condensed schedule, as you mentioned, obviously the Panthers playing 14 of their remaining games in August. The Cardinals playing 17 of their remaining games in the month of August. The arms are going to be a main talking point. And in terms of spreading the wealth on the mound, it's going to be difficult to do, as you mentioned, for every manager in the Canadian Baseball League. But that's how unique this first season has been with the rebrand, of course, and obviously the elements playing a huge part in terms of dictating this last month and a half of the season. Really, since the All-Star break, it's really been sort of wild all over the place. You know, really anybody's for the taking here. You know, it's been a case of the bottom 4 making it hard for the top 5 and vice versa. So,
bit of a shuffle and a take in the first pitch wide there for Josvani Penalve. Comes back up for his 4th time here to kick off the bottom of the 8th inning. The Panthers 2 more offensive innings here in regulation to try to make up 6 runs. And they barrels that one up into the right side. Gets down in the right field area, just clear of the foul line. He's going to leg it out there for 2. A bit of a slow hustle there off to first. Closer play than Penalve was looking for, but he's there in time. His 2nd double in quick succession. Penalve, a nice little start here to the bottom of the 8th inning.
That's just what the Panthers ordered to start off this inning here. Looked like Penalve took a little bit of a trot down first base there and then picked it up around the bag. Nonetheless, he is on second base. And Petey Kiefer is a dangerous hitter, especially with a runner in scoring position. Dangerous hitter regardless, but with Penalve on second base there. You know, this is a dream scenario here for Petey Kiefer to make some magic here and get the Panthers back in business here.
Here's Kiefer. Breaking ball drops in low. Really nice take. Looked like midway through the air he thought it was going to drop in and hang dead center over the heart of the plate. Luckily, checks up in time. Out up in the air, goes foul over the third base grandstand area. Makes it 1 apiece. So good start. Penalve, 2nd double of the day, now finds himself on second. It's going to be Raffy Gross, Trent Lawson up here behind Kiefer. Strong runner is Penalve. Very good chance to score on a single out there into the outfield.
Jamie Cabral coming into pinch run here for Josvani Penalve as he checks out of the ball game. Cabral will head down to second base, so a non-pitching change here that Pete Kiefer's making at this point in the ball game.
Cabral even faster legs, even faster first step. He's going to pinch run here to try to maximize the opportunity for a run in this inning, and the Panthers hope they can keep the momentum enough such that he'll have to hit in the 9th if they can go that deep into the lineup here with 2 innings left.
You know, this is the equation that Pete Kiefer likes here. Cabral on second base. Petey Kiefer, obviously the star for the Panthers in the game against Welland.
Gets a piece of that one, fouled off into the third base area once again.
And, you know, for Kiefer coming off of an afternoon a game ago where he was a single short of the cycle here, you know, this is another opportunity and a big moment here. Pivotal part of this game here for the Panthers, as pivotal as it gets.
That one put in play right down the middle. Chance by the second baseman out of the range of Brown's glove. Runner coming around. Cabral in a pinch run. He scores. The RBI single brings Kitchener back to within 5. This ball game's not over, Panthers fans. Jack Couch Park has had its noise levels picked back up.
It's all in the details, Marshall. That is a brilliant substitution for Pete Kiefer to make there. Jamie Cabral coming in for Penalve, who hit the double to kick things off. Kiefer with a great single up the middle. And it's just that speed, just the turnaround third base too. You know, he had his eyes on home plate that whole way there. At this point, like you said a couple times here tonight, you have nothing to lose in this situation. Cabral had his eyes on home plate and home plate only.
That one fouled back by Rafi Gross. Looking to get on the board today with his first trip on base in some capacity. Yeah, you make a great point. I know it looked like, you know, plenty of time there from Cabral, and it was, but part of the reason why is I think it's so dispiriting to see the pinch runner coming around third by the time Duncan even gets a hand on the ball. I think if that's Penalve, might have got a more spirited throw back into the infield. That one's well in on the inside for a strike. Strike 2, much to the chagrin again of Rafi Gross. He takes time just to reset. He's had a couple today, particularly that inside part of the plate. He doesn't want to swing. It's not the way his mechanics naturally want to barrel up the baseball, but if he's going to consistently get calls there from the home plate umpire, he's got to start taking those pitches into account. 0-2, no outs. Swings and misses past that one for strike 3. Gross becomes the third victim on strikes there to Bowato, who's looked quite strong there as well. Both himself and Hewitt are either going to be set up men or going to close the ball game out. I would not be surprised if we see Hewitt back for one more time. We'll see if the Cardinals go for a true closer here in the 9th. Here's Trent Lawson. Out up in the air, out into shallow center. Tracking out to the fence and right. It's got a chance. It is gone. Barrels it up, gets just enough, and it just barely leaves the confines of Jack Couch Park. Trent Lawson brings the lead even closer, make it 7-4 Kitchener. And the Hamilton Cardinals and Bowato in particular, they got to keep their eyes and their heads on a swivel, because this game is getting close in a hurry. Bowato finally giving up runs for the first time this season, and he's given up a trio here in the bottom of the 8th.
If there's any Panther in this lineup who's deserved a shot to the outfield tonight, it's been Trent Lawson. I think he's in that conversation for probably the batters, probably seen the most pitches in this game in his trips to the batter's box. Getting the Panthers back into this one. And, you know, the deficit that it was, you know, now a 3-run cushion that the Cardinals are holding on to. Doesn't really seem like a 3-run cushion at this point here as the infield huddle around the mound now to get a different look at it. But for Lawson, though, that is a huge shot for the Panthers. Home run number 5 on the season for the Panthers outfielder.
That's going to do it for Bowato's night there as well. The first 3 runs he gives up on his season will be the only 3 that he gives up here tonight. The Cardinals have been very proactive here tonight with, you know, putting the arms right in. Remember, Soroski had only given up the 1 run through 3 innings. He was out pretty quick. Francis Adames, again, rehab situation. He's coming back off an injury. Only the 2 innings for him. He was effective all the way. Now, Bowato, really, you know, he's had a couple, you know, get pretty hard. He's starting to kind of hang things up high a little bit. He still looks relatively effective. Pulled him before it gets any worse. I like that. I think the top teams in the league, that's always the situation you want. I think some teams in the CBL give their relievers in particular a little bit too much, you know, wiggle room. I like Hamilton getting ahead of it, but we talked about it before. How many pitchers do you want to use here tonight? Hamilton's going to go through at least 4, but it is the conventional closer here for the Hamilton Cardinals. Stephen Hospital coming into the ball game, and his numbers last year in 25 were ridiculous. He's still been as productive here in 2026, and tonight he's got to quell the momentum here of a Kitchener Panthers squad that's brought it back to within 3, and he's still got to find 5 outs.
And at his relief appearances this season, Marshall obviously was in the ball game 2 nights ago in London, and the heartbreaker there for the Cardinals, obviously losing an extra innings. But obviously in saying that too, you know, he's also had great outings as well against, you know, the likes of, you know, the Toronto Maple Leafs in a win, the Welland Jackfish in a win, the London Majors in a previous game also resulting in a win. He was involved in a stretch there Late June, early July there, where he was involved in a few straight wins there for the Hamilton Cardinals. So with him coming in onto the mound here, though, to sort of weather the storm the Panthers have sort of thrown at the Cardinals here is key.
One put in play, right at the third baseman. Reyes can't glove it clean, and he goes down in a little bit of discomfort. Frustration there by Reyes as he puts Ibarra on. The first pitch he sees, a hard hit bouncer out of the glove of the third baseman, and Reyes will dust himself off. Kitchener is very much back in this ball game, and Ibarra, plenty of cheers of support there as he came in the ball game, and he made good on it. Trent Lawson's 5th homer of the season out there to right makes it 7-4. Ibarra puts himself on to continue the run in hospital. Get hard barreled up on the ground on the very first pitch he deals. This is wide.
Cardinal pitching now looking a little bit shaky. 10 combined strikeouts on the night for the Cardinals to the Panthers 13. That's a bit of a quiet statistic that sort of snuck its way into this game.
Fabian puts it in play, down the middle, on the bouncer, chance at 2. They get it for 1. Can they get Fabian? They cannot. He does leg it out. He does keep the inning alive. But that's one quick out there on a ball that it hit the front side of the mound. It took a big bounce there off the dirt and slowed itself down just enough for Nickel to get a hand on it to make the play at second. If that one clears the mound, that's a hard hit baseball that probably rolls into center. And that's 2 base runners on, right? Then the potentially the tying run there could be on the bat of Cook, who's been hot today. That's another butterfly effect moment. One little bounce can really be what it takes for the Cardinals to wrest back control of this ball game. That one rolls away on the wild pitch. Fabian will get on first, and just a moment later, he'll stroll off over to second. Cook has been productive in all 3 outs here today. Hit by pitch, a single, walked, and then later advanced. He needs to be productive here again. He's got no room for error with 2 outs on the board. Hospital is ready. He deals. Gets him on the far side. Nice pitch on the heater to even the count.
This is the part at this point of the game I think Pete Kiefer is happy to have up. Obviously, Jackson Cook has had a great game, without question, even in this count here too.
That one in the dirt. Really nice block there by McGill to prevent Fabian from advancing again.
And so is Fabian down at second base too. Obviously the Cardinals made a great adjustment there to tighten up the middle there to get that ball to keep it from the outfield. They learned obviously from the RBI single that Kiefer hit to make that adjustment.
They're going to appeal. Did he swing? Yes, he did, says the first base ump. And Cook is going to find himself in a 2-2 situation. He fought back from 2-2 earlier to take that walk. Other than that, he's mostly been in favorable counts here tonight, and he's made good on them. Drops it in on the breaking pitch inside. Hospital gets strike 3 for his first time in relief. One more inning for both sides. The bottom of the 8th sees a little bit of action from the Panthers bats. What did I say there before, Cam? You just need 3 per inning. They've done it in the bottom of the 8th. Can the Panthers do it again in the bottom of the 9th? Only one more inning left to find out. It's Cam Stirrup alongside Marshall Crocker in the booth. We thank you for joining us here on a Tuesday night. We got one more inning. Do not go anywhere. The Hamilton Cardinals look to cap it off. Hewitt and the Panthers look to keep this one alive. We'll see you right back in a few moments for the start of the 9th inning on KPTV Live.
Looking for your next favorite restaurant, local shop, family activity, or your next home? You'll find it all in Living Local. We're a family-owned publication proudly serving the Waterloo region, connecting readers with businesses, events, and people that make our community thrive. With digital, print, and social media, we're here to help you discover local. And coming soon, our monthly subscription service will deliver Living Local right to your door. Living Local. Discover more close to home.
And welcome back. One more inning to play on a Tuesday night here in the Canadian Baseball League. The Hamilton Cardinals lead at 7-4 on the road at Jack Couch. Ben Hewitt is back on the mound for his 4th inning. Swing and a miss past that one. There for the opening Cardinal. We're back to the top. Tyler Duncan comes up for his 5th time here today. He's been great on defense, and he's been productive on offense. A pair of singles, including an RBI. Can he kickstart one more inning of offense here for the Cardinals as they try to open their lead? Gets a piece of that one right down the gap between first and second. It'll be the 3rd single of the ball game for Tyler Duncan, who I said he's been heating up post All-Star break. He is scalding at this point, and he's still got 1 month left to play to try to creep his way back to a 1,000 OPS. He's making good on that tonight.
And that's the first hiccup that Hewitt's had to face in a while, and you'll get that when you turn over to the top of the lineup here. This will be a real test, obviously, with the rally. The Panthers had just come on. The Cardinals will look to do one of their own here.
And a bunt is down. It is fair. It's going to go to first. Into the pitcher in time. It's very close there at first, but Hewitt got him. Nice placement there because Nickel is often a guy that thinks he's going to get on first when he bunts. Doesn't matter the time or the place. Just barely short as the Panthers get one out on the board on a nice PFP play.
And advancing the runner, too, for the 3-hitter, Darlin Herman here, too. Try and further this attack here for Hamilton. Stretch this out to a 4-run lead. Give him a little bit of insurance here.
They do advance Duncan indeed. Herman 1 for 4 here today. Singled home the first run of the ball game. Now one up in the air and won't be playable out over the fencing. So Herman, then McGill, and Evan McGill, regardless of the scenario, whether it's still 1 out on the board or 2, that's going to be a big moment there for Hewitt. We did see Gavin McLean warming up there in the bullpen for Kitchener earlier. We'll see if they bring a fresh arm in specifically to deal with McGill, who's been red hot tonight. Up high and close. Just misses the batter. There's been a couple that have got away from the Panthers, but good job tonight in addition to just the 1 walk here tonight. No hit by pitches. They've done a really good job keeping the baseball, again, over the heart of the plate for good, for bad, but generally speaking, Hewitt in particular has to be really happy with how tonight's gone. Drops in. They try the play at third. Out of the range is the throw, and it's going to go wild. The runner will come home. Duncan had a very good shot on a clean throw to get out at third. Instead, the throw goes errant over the head of Fuji, and Tyler Duncan will become the 8th run of the night for the Cardinals. They double the Panthers' lead, and now the margin they need to make up on offense in the bottom 9 will be 4.
It's unfortunate for Ben Hewitt, too. It's almost as if the work he's done at this point in the ballgame, it's all sort of unraveling a little bit right before his very eyes.
One inside on the hands is in play, bounces up the middle. Plenty of time for Kiefer, who should get it there to first. Once again, a Hamilton Cardinal, not giving it quite full beans there on the run down to first. As a result, he's found out on the 6-3. The play prior, they're going to score it as Tyler Duncan swiping third, and then a rare error from Junior Ibarra bringing home the run. So here's Evan McGill. It is going to be Hewitt. He's going to see it out the rest of the way and try to cap off complete 4 innings. As he takes on the man with 2 homers, 4 RBIs on the night. A little bit of piece of that one. Off the tip of the bat, goes back foul once again.
And for Hewitt, he's in a situation where, he's looking to go a season high here. It's a massive improvement for him. He's gone 3 innings many times this season. It's kind of sort of been at an average of 2 2/3 innings for him. So to go this long at this point in the game and, in the state the Panthers rotation's in, this is definitely a positive for Pete Kiefer, if anything, to see that, a guy like Hewitt is going to go the distance as far as what he's done so far this season.
Just missed the zone high. He's just missed it there wide. Pair of breaking balls. Neither of them fool McGill. 2-1. A little bit high, a little bit wide once again. Really good discipline here by the catcher, who, like we talked about, similar to Ibarra, almost as many walks in his career as strikeouts. 3-1. Pieces of the bat. Rolls off into the Kitchener dugout there.
Yes, definitely the quality of an at-bat of a guy who has 2 home runs in this game too, pushing Ben Hewitt here.
Second one was
to
in a
the
deep
edge.
count like this as well. Swings and misses past that one up high. Hewitt gets out of it with only one more run put up on the board. And there's no more beating around the bush. There is a one more half inning for the offense. They need to find the form that, again, we've seen in spurts, not just tonight, but this weekend. The Panthers, when they pick it up, when they get rolling, especially here at Jack Couch, anything can happen. I don't know about you. What do you think, Cam? Is you on your shoulders? Do you think it's more pressure in what you've seen in the past? Do you see a team going into this situation, bottom 9, 4's the number to make up, and that's too much pressure? Or do you think teams kind of rise to the occasion? Because I find in the CBL something electric about the Canadian Baseball League. 9th run, bottom of the order. It's kind of the backyard moment, right? You're a kid growing up. It's the moment you picture like the game winner in basketball. You want to be the one to come up big when the lights are brightest. You don't get much brighter than this spot. Really a chance to not only for the Panthers get a much needed get back win on the road before you go on this long road streak. But if any team is going to catch the Guelph Royals, who I believe are continuing to lead the London Majors there, 4-2 there as that game comes down to towards its final score. Both Hamilton and Guelph, if they come out with 18 wins and you're Kitchener, you come out with 10, that path to a playoff spot looks out of reach. If you flip that, Hamilton stays at 17, you get a big win here. This feels like your season's on the line. It's a big spot to win at home. There's a lot of pressure, but do you think that could play in to an emotional Panthers lineup?
In general, I think that for the Panthers, this is a moment that they could definitely thrive in, and it's one that will really set their identity for the rest of the season. The Hamilton Cardinals have not been the greatest road team in the CBL this season. Flip that obviously to their home record, and they're a very formidable side. It's gotten them to this point in the season and where they're at, obviously, in the top 4 in the CBL. But for Kitchener here, 4 is, funny enough, not necessarily a tough hill to climb here. They've shown it late in ball games, putting up a 3 spot in the 8th inning alone. It's very much doable here for the Panthers here in this 9th inning to get something rolling and get something rolling quickly. Huge strikeout for Ben Hewitt, obviously getting Evan McGill there to get the Panthers to this point now where they're in the spot now where they can dictate the final score here.
Well, it's only fitting that the Kitchener Panthers are facing hospital because they find themselves in the emergency room heading into the bottom of the 9th here. 4 runs is the gap they need to make up. It's going to be Scancy, Fuji, and with no substitutions, Jamie Cabral will then hit as that 3rd man in this inning. He's subbed in to pinch run for Penalve back in the 8th inning. Right down the middle, the first pitch from Hospital as he faces Scancy for the 4th time. Scancy's 4th time up, his first time facing Hospital. That one drops in low of the zone, evens the count up at 1 apiece. Here you see Hospital, that long, low warm-up stride he takes. Correct myself, it's Connor Corey, the man here on the mound, who's made quite a few appearances this season for the Cardinals. Makes more and more late game appearances as the season goes on. 1-2. Gets him on the far side. Corey picks his spot perfectly on the outside. Gets him for another strikeout there. That's Scancy's 2nd of the ball game. And here comes the big bat. It's the all-star, Malik Williams. You'd want Williams in this spot with men in front of him because he can absolutely crush the baseball. But you also don't mind him in this spot. Get the momentum going, try to start a cascade. Up there at the sharp end of the entire league in both batting average and home run pop. If you want an all-around offensive profile, Malik Williams is your guy. He'll make his first appearance of the day and about as big a spot as it gets.
Another ace up Pete Kiefer's sleeve here at the plate.
Right down Main Street for strike 1 once again. Corey putting it down the middle to start off his last 2 at-bats.
And we'll see if the stroke of genius can benefit the Panthers once again. Obviously, the substitution with Cabral in on the base paths earlier paid dividends for the Panthers. We'll see if Malik can do the same here. at the plate.
2 strikes, no balls. Cabral is on deck after replacing Penalve in the 8th. Corey, he'll deal. And that one put out into right field. Gets down. Williams plays into the shift. A crazy shift by the right fielder. Williams going to come all the way around for 2. That was Cabral. Might have had a shot at 3. I can't believe how far Dominguez played. Looked more like the center fielder than the right fielder. Williams took advantage. And the Panthers are still alive. Malik Williams now out there on second.
And that is why he's second in the CBL in batting average for qualified hitters, as we look like.
And they're going to pinch run for him. It is going to be Matteo Zeppieri.
Talk about aces up Pete Kiefer's sleeve, Marshall. At the plate, they brought in Malik Williams, and now you brought in your paciest runner here, Zeppieri, on second base now, coming into this ball game here. And it was the man at the plate, Jamie Cabral, who was on second base at one time in this ball game. Ended up coming all the way around the base pass. We'll see if Zeppieri can mirror that.
First pitch once again down the middle. This time it's against Cabral. Speed on second, speed at the plate. Zeppieri's the kind of guy that feels like he could score on a ball in the dirt. From second, ridiculous speed, lots of movement out there. He's juking, he's jiving. Out is put in just in the hole between first and second. Zeppieri's going to come home. The run lead will be only 3. The Panthers keeping it alive in late night action on Tuesday. Zeppieri comes in to score. That's another pinch runner. I like your point there, Cam. Both big spots because, again, Dominguez is quick out there from right field. Zeppieri being that fast slows the play back in, removes any chance of a play at the plate, and as a result, the Panthers still have 2 outs to play with, now only down 8-5.
Pete Kiefer going all in here in terms of the substitutions at the plate and on the base paths. That all started with bringing Malik Williams in here, smacking a double into right field against the shift to kickstart this run for the Panthers.
Runner goes, here he is, Cabral. Not in time, the throw. Cabral gets in there and he's fired up towards the dugout. Jamie Cabral took a massive lead. They didn't try the play at first, and he makes them pay for it. Runner back in scoring position with the Panthers down just 3.
And even more deja vu, Marshall. Petey Kiefer at the plate, Jamie Cabral on second.
That's a piece of that one. Hard off the fencing on the third base side. 0-2 once again. The last hitter to find himself down 0-2, I should say, was Malik when he doubled just a few batters ago. Rafi Gross on deck. 0-2. Kiefer keeps it alive as he puts that one back into the fencing once again.
Staying in there is Petey Kiefer. We'll see if Lightning can strike twice here in the same spot with Cabral on second base. Of course, it was the RBI that Kiefer put into center field that scored Cabral his last time up.
Connor Corey tries the back pick at second. The ball rolls away. Didn't quite have time, and he was all the way down. Hopefully not in any discomfort. Cabral there still down after diving back to second. Looks like he's all right. Just going to regather himself. For the Hamilton Cardinals, with Connor Corey coming in for hospital, you've now used 5 pitchers. This late in the season, you can't really afford to use this many arms in a ball game that gets away from you. The stakes just as high here for the Cardinals as they are for the Panthers.
And they dictated that early on when they made the substitution up 6-1. They brought in Adames to the ball game, and it's the funny nature of baseball. It's how it could go sometimes. And up by 5 runs at that point, you make that substitution. You're not thinking that you're going to make it to this point in the 9th inning, and you're only up by 3.
So Petey gets a piece of another one. It feels like he can get the bat to anything he sees right now. The question is, can he get it going forward? 0-2. That one put in play, right down the middle. A bouncer out there towards short. It's a slow roller. Kiefer, not in time. What a play there by Brandon Nickel. Legs it out. Had to make a perfect glove transition into the throwing arm if he wanted to get him in time. Kiefer kept him honest on the run to first, but great short stops to make big plays in big spots. And that one taking a slow bounce off the grass made that one a lot closer than it would have been off a one-hop.
It's very similar to Kiefer's first at-bat where he grounded out. Rainy Reyes made an absolute rocket of a throw at first to get Kiefer there. Very similar situation this time with Nickel denying the speed of Kiefer there.
Inside on the hands, Gross puts it down the middle. Might be the final out. The throw from the second baseman. Ball game is over. Jaden Brown makes the play on the final grounder. And frustration from Rafi Gross and Cabral on the base paths as they had something cooking. They built something there in the late stages, Cam, but we talked about it at the start of the ball game. It played a big role with a couple early errors. Defense, the name of the game when you get a game here at Couch that, not relatively speaking, I guess I shouldn't compare to Sunday, but not a ton of hard hit barreled balls, certainly not with a high enough launch angle to leave the park. It was a lot of low hit liners, and it was a lot of opportunities that gave the defense a chance to make a play, to do what they needed to do, and they made good on it. The final score in today's ball game going to be 8-5 Hamilton Cardinals. They pick up the win on the road. They snap their 2-game losing skid, move up to 18 wins on the season, and by the looks of it, the Guelph Royals are going to join them. We're going to have two teams both at 18 wins, closing in on Barrie at 19, London at 21, and Welland at 22. You see the Panthers there, heading off, taking the trip home on a late Tuesday night. They get a couple nights off, but I feel like the rest in the rearview mirror is still what they're more worried about with how many games they played last weekend. It always hurts to come up with one more loss at home, but I like the optimism you had about the road contest. And sometimes it is the splash of water you need, right, to head back on the road if things aren't clicking perfectly at your ballpark, right? You want an opportunity to say, okay, different environment, maybe even for the pitchers, right? Less hitter-friendly park. What is that going to do to the rest of the pitchers? I'm sure we'll see Rodriguez, I'm sure the rest of the way down the week. Obviously, McNeil pitched on Sunday. So some new arms, a chance for a fresh start, but this is huge for the Cardinals, right? Getting that one, opening the lead back up. I believe a 7-game full lead now for the Cardinals and Royals above the cutoff line. Starting to get later early for a couple of these teams, but not quite over for the Kitchener Panthers.
Not quite over, indeed. And, this was a bit of a weird one for the Panthers. This is a game where they would have loved to have scored 8. And, that was the 3-run difference that made the difference for the Kitchener Panthers in this one. They got off to a rough start again. Jorge Mignetti was throwing around a little bit. Cardinals put up that 4 spot in the first inning, but quietly, Mignetti and Hewitt, they climbed their way to 14 strikeouts between them in this one.
Yeah.
And for Pete Kiefer, being able to retire the bats of the likes of, Nickel and Herman, obviously, as well, who are seasoned hitters in this league. McGill as well, who had an unbelievable game at the plate, too. Couple of home runs himself. That is a very welcome sight for Pete Kiefer, and one that is going to define the Panther season going forward, obviously. They have those options in the rotation that they can look to, obviously, going into a couple of very tough settings coming up here. They're going to Welland, they're going to London, they're playing 1, they're playing 2. It doesn't get any easier for the Panthers. The Cardinals have a home-and-home coming up with the Barrie Bay Cats, I know. So, it's going to be a very interesting stretch for both teams, and I think that at the end of this season, this is definitely a night that both will look back on and, think for the Panthers, what could have been, and for the Cardinals, they're leaving with the win, but also with a lot of confusion, too, because they got off to such a hot start, but it's quite clear that momentum, it can slip away from them at any time, too, as it did, and the Panthers, in classic fashion, especially at Jack Couch Park, they climbed back into this one, and they did late.
They did indeed. They did it right at the right time, and the Cardinals' offense, the defense, and the pitching locked it down there in the end. Took a couple extra arms with Connor Corey in hospital, but they did the job. They did what they had to do, and the Cardinals come out with the 8-5 win. Let's take a look. We'll build the bridge to cross to the next Panthers game, and remember, 4 straight on the road. We'll take a look at the next time we're going to head back home, and it's not going to be for a little bit here. Jack Couch Park is going to be collecting dust here for a couple weeks, but there you see it. The Guelph Royals going to be the next home contest. There, of course, the crosstown rivalry Battle of Highway 7. The Guelph Royals tonight, again, picking up their 18th win. They're kind of the team me and a lot of people are looking at as, okay, you get a lot of wins in quick succession in the first half of the season. Is the fall-off going to happen? Was that just a mirage? Certainly doesn't look like it. With Elvin Liriano throwing a really good game against the London Majors tonight, you got to think they have as legitimate a rotation nearly as any other team in the league. It's been an absolute pleasure tonight calling the ball game alongside you. I always like coming out here and getting to call games at Kitchener, Jack Couch Park, a beautiful park. Great fan base, awesome crew, and great ball. It's nice getting to see homers to left field. My goodness, I was saying before the game, we haven't had one in Brantford since the end of May, so it's good to see long balls going out the left side. For Cam Stirrup, I'm Marshall Crocker saying thank you very much for watching us tonight on KPTV Live. Whether you're here from Kitchener, Hamilton, anywhere in between, thank you for supporting Canadian baseball. That'll do it for us tonight. We'll see you in that home game against Guelph. In the meantime, good luck to the Panthers on the road trip. Signing off for tonight. Have a great rest of your week, ladies and gentlemen.